Raptor Freak Alexiot's here Sunday morning after a wildwood. Yeah, rock and roll will save the day. We're in the YYZ, baby. Rush, baby. Home of Rush. And like rock concerts, this was very Spinal Tap what happened last night. A speaker caught fire. Bam. Actually, they said there were two speakers on fire. One of them went out like real quick. One at each end was on fire, and they had to they had to evacuate the building in the middle of the game. And really, really funny stuff that they were saying about what happened. Like the players and the coaches, when they were discovering what was happening in the building in the midst of a rout, they were routing them right away. Oh yeah, the Raptors came out all business last night. They had their briefcases and their lunch bags, and they put them down and they punched their card in and they came into work. They did not come in loafed. They came in and they did not play down to their opponent. They came in and they kicked their ass. Yeah, they kicked their ass. We got a good layer of syrup put on that game last night. Boy, did we. I wasn't kidding when I said we might need to go get a great Canadian maple tree and tap that sucker and get more syrup out of it just to fill up the syrup we might need for the game last night, because it ended up being a 40-point win. Oh yeah, it became a 40-point win. I can't believe Jack Armstrong and Matt Devlin kept saying this is unfortunate for the team that they have to stop when they're rolling like this. And I was like, it doesn't matter. Come on, guys. They could play this game at 4 a.m. in the morning and they would beat the Indiana Pacers' ass just the same way. They could have suspended this game for another 3 or 4 days and it would have been exactly the same thing that happened. There was no way Indiana was going to do nothing against us. And it was just great to see our guys be pros amidst chaos, amidst absolute chaos in the building, because that's exactly what was happening last night, was some motherfucking chaos, and it was crazy. Tom Duke, woo! We have that sixth spot. Let's go. Yes, Tom, bringing up the good news. Yes, we got it last night shortly after we won. Because of the delay, our game almost ended after the Chicago-Cleveland game, but we did end it before them, and then Chicago did the damage and put Cleveland down into the play-in bracket. That's right. And we rose up and we took that sixth spot, and now there's a whole game in between the Cavaliers and us. We got a little bit of breathing room, but we need to keep going. And their next opponent's a little bit easy, and our next opponent is very tough. And this next game tomorrow night is another chance for the Raptors to just show who they are. Yeah, against a team that everybody's talking about being the baddest, hottest team in the league right now, the Boston Celtics. And we will preview this properly tomorrow, trust me. But right now, we're talking about crazy rock and roll night. Yeah, rock and roll fire. It's so crazy. Like the images that are coming out from last night of a speaker burning with the crowd underneath is just crazy. It's just crazy. You've heard of rain delays. Have you heard of fire delays? Well, that's what we're getting in Toronto right now, because the action on the court is so hot, baby, that our speakers are spontaneously combusting into fire. And then, yeah, it gets real. The fire marshal comes in and says, you guys got to get out for this. It's weird where that speaker was. It's actually real close to where I was sitting the other night, just above, kind of near where I was sitting. And so I'm like, what if this happened in a game earlier? But the crazy thing is that speaker's in such a weird place that they actually don't have a catwalk to it, and that somebody has to get a rope connected to something in the ceiling and rappel down to fix it. Yeah, those brave souls. I would never ever do any work like that. No, sir, I do not like heights. And boy, it was really interesting to see the dude up there, the hero, the fireman, hanging from the ceiling, spraying it out with a fire extinguisher as best as he could. But yeah, they're going to have to take that speaker down. They're going to have to do some work with some of the audio works in the Scotiabank Arena, because this is crazy, man. This is some wild stuff. I'm not lying. Monique saying 6 seed, keep climbing. I believe. Yes, Monique. Chicago is going to falter still a little bit, I think, because they have a really, really tough schedule. And maybe we can still flip into the 5th spot. Hey, I'm all for it. The further away we get away from the play-in, the more security I feel about it. Because right now it's still, it's not going to take totally. It's going to be a little bit of bouncing around still. Hopefully we keep winning, and that doesn't put us back back in the play-in at any section of this next week coming up, because it's going to be records are going to be flipping and flying all over the place. And we see Miami lose again last night, and they're the top of the Eastern Conference is flipping all around itself. Like those four teams are so close. They're like a half game in between all of them. All four of those top Eastern teams right now. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. Let's see. Tom Duke saying, just glad that game didn't get canceled after being up by so much. Tom, they would have taken care of it either way, whatever it was. We were talking about it a bit. Some friends of mine, and like, what do you do? Well, Zach Zarba has the power to actually call the game with time left in the game if he feels like it cannot continue for whatever reason, like a speaker on fire. And at that point, if they had decided that there wasn't enough time in the evening to get it fixed and come back and restart the game, the NBA would have made the call of either rescheduling the game to finish another time, which is a real pain in the ass, getting all the teams together and trying to do a postponed game this late in the season. Yeah, they may do it, and they may stack the game right at the end of our last game against New York. But otherwise, they do have the power authority to call the game for the team that is up at that time. So we were never in doubt or danger of losing a game or a win. It's just that it would either got postponed, and eventually it would have been what it would have happened at the end anyway last night. And it's just that, it's such a weird rule book. This is similar to something that happened with the Raptors 905 this season, where they played a 2:00 game at the 905 arena in Mississauga, and there was an unreasonable condensation on the court. There were problems with very slippery situation with the court, and they called the game for a while. They said, we're going to try and fix the court, and we're going to come back and do it again later. And it was a 6-hour delay for that one. They were playing that game in the afternoon. They ended up finishing it in the evening, but they did go and finish it. And like they did last night, they just take the time and the score on the clock, and they just go from there. It's all that simple. So there was really no danger of this game being lost or completely suspended or anything like that. We were going to win this game no matter what. Yeah, you saw exactly like this talent level between the Raptors and the Pacers last night was just way off kilter. Like if you really think about it, look at who they had out there against our guys, and you see how badass our guys looked last night. Like Pascal in the beginning of the game was doing whatever the fuck he wanted to. He'd go right to the basket. These guys, he's used to getting so much more contact. He's used to getting so much more resistance in his spins and his drives to basket. He was laughing at how easy it was for him to do anything he wanted to last night, Pascal Siakam. He was laughing because they barely slap him on the wrist, and he'd be there, and I'm already here, whams, laying it in, boom, that kind of stuff. And then Precious, oh my gosh, Precious 4 for 4 for 3 before the delay, just killing it, bombing it. And after the game, he's talking about how much confidence his teammates have in him, and they're all encouraging him. Like he had an early shot that he could have took from 3-point range, but he passed it to the next guy. And when he came to the bench, he said there were like 3 guys telling me I should have shot it. So I listened to them, and I came back out and I hit 4 in a row, baby. Precious, you are a badass. This team is just a badass. Oh my gosh, we're going to go over the box score, and I'm going to give my flowers to each one of them about different things last night, because they all got to get in there last night. Thankfully, Svi and Yuta did get their time a little bit. It was really good. Really, really good. All right, let's keep going. Monique's saying, I booked my rides, Lex, but Wheel-Trans ain't reliable. Are you talking about for the Miami game next Sunday? Or maybe another game coming up soon? Well, I hope that they come through for you. That's unfortunate. I've heard different things about Wheel-Trans and TTC as far as with whether they are good or not with different things like that. Hopefully they come through for you, Monique. I wish there was some sort of way you could let them know, or somebody could let them know that this is an important trip that you need to take, and that they need to make you a priority customer for this particular one, that there is a very important work that you need to do down at the arena, and that you need to get down there, and that don't mess around with Monique in her transportation to get to the Raptor game. Please, TTC, listen to her and get her there on time. Oh All right, let's keep going. Tom Duke saying Boston is going to be our third win in a row. Tom Duke is the positive thinking mind. I love this. Yeah, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a real one. Oh, it's going to be a real one tomorrow. It's going to be on like Donkey Kong in the 416. And we're hopefully going to be picking up some more winning sticks because we need this one, baby. We need to keep this cushion going higher and higher than Cleveland. We cannot bounce back into the play-in. And they're playing Orlando next. They get a cream puff in their next game. So they're going to get a little bit of get back. But see, that's the thing. They win and we lose, then we're even with them again and we're back in the play-in. So we really want to start this cushion while we're above, even higher. And that means taking out the little green man. We need to take out the Boston Celtics. We beat them a couple times already this year, I believe. I'm not sure. I think it's 2-1 them for the season series right now. So we need to even it up. We need to even up this series with the Boston Celtics. We're gonna have. I'll find out who the ref crew is in the morning. We'll talk about the ref report crew check in the morning, and we'll see if there's any funny stuff. Like if I see Ed Malloy's name on the ref crew tomorrow, I'm gonna be really like suspicious. Yeah, because I don't like Ed Malloy in a Boston Celtics game. He's already burned us in a Boston Celtics game this season. Already. So I don't want to see no Ed Malloy in the crew for the Raptors and the Celtics tomorrow. Okay, NBA, don't you send Ed Malloy to Toronto tomorrow. No, you don't. No, you don't. All right, let's keep going. Tom saying, yeah, Monday's a big day. Big day. Oh, this stretch run is so much fun. I'm actually really enjoying the home games because, listen, last night the fans did not come with the same kind of defensive intensity like we did on Thursday, but that was fine. It is the opponent, the Indiana Pacers. Hell, we didn't even need the fans after the breakdown and everybody having to leave. It was really a weird situation. Like, that's got to be so strange for the players to be playing the game and being so into the game, and then all of a sudden looking over and seeing a huge section of the arena empty all of a sudden, and there's firemen standing there, and they're kind of like, what the hell just happened? Like, some of the players thought somebody got puked or something. They got really sick and they just threw up all over the place. But like, why so many people there? And Nick Nurse was like, did they not sell tickets for that section for some reason? Oh, there must be some big group coming in and taking the section. This is what Nick Nurse thought. They didn't know what the fuck was going on. None of us did at first. It was just so weird. And actually, I want to give some really strong kudos to the staff and the people that run the building at the Scotiabank Arena. That was really, really well done. How you organized and kept everything calm and right in that situation, because literally the building was on fire and they had everybody in there. It's like, it's not facetious when they give them the instructions about what to do with an emergency evacuation at the beginning of the game. Everybody chuckles a little bit. Oh, you go out underneath and you can, if you're in the upper bowl, go down the stairs, blah, 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 blah. It was like, why do they do that? Well, we found out last night that is exactly why they go over the evacuation protocols every single game, because this is possible. These things are possible. Rock and roll fire can happen, and you need to leave because it is above you and it could fall on your ass and it could be a hot ball of fire. Yeah, hot ball of fire. Yeah, just like our shots, man. Yeah. Hot ball of fire. Oh, so good. All right, let's keep going. Andrew saying it was Precious. He started that fire with his 3-pointer. It's like Precious and a little bit of Billy Joel, even though he said he didn't start that fire. We know it was a little bit of Billy Joel and Precious that did that. We know it. Yeah, Precious sparked something. Something got sparked. It went, and then, like, I'm telling you, something's too hot in the Scotiabank Arena right now, and that things are on fire. Rock and roll speaker, baby. And then, oh my gosh, y'all. Oh my gosh. Jack Armstrong had the Jack Armstrong moment of the career. Oh my gosh, Jack, you really, oh man, you're hilarious, dude. That was, and you know what I'm talking about. Jack's trying to talk about Anchorman and Ron Burgundy and, Will Ferrell's character, and he says Ron Jeremy instead. And y'all know who Ron Jeremy is. He is a prolific porn star from the 80s, the little hedgehog with the mustache and the greasy, gross motherfucker who's made so many porn movies. And that's a crazy slip up because, first of all, Ron Jeremy's in big trouble right now. He is indicted and in trouble for sexual assaults, very serious stuff, not a laughing matter, and that he's going to prison for the rest of his life. Yeah, but it really kind of let us know about Jack Armstrong. The Jack Armstrong's, jacking something. Yeah, yeah, he knows who Ron Jeremy is. That's a name that pops in his head. I'm like thinking, what is Jack doing in his off time? He is watching some pornos. That's what Jack is doing. That is what we learned last night. And that's why that name slip was so funny. And when he did it, Matt Devlin proceeded to laugh for the next 5 minutes like a giddy little middle school kid whose best friend just said Ron Jeremy in class. Yeah, that was so funny. Like you couldn't stop laughing yourself because of that crazy ass moment. Just a weird night. Jack says Ron Jeremy and the speaker catches on fire. Just a really weird night for the Raptors, but so hilarious and entertaining and fun. And it was a 40-point win, y'all. Our biggest margin win of the whole entire season this year. What a crazy ass game. Our dudes are true professionals to go through all of this last night and do what they did. In fact, talking about what they did in the break, listening to music. Nick Nurse was watching the feed that a lot of people were on the League Pass, were just trying to watch the firemen fix it and stuff like that. And some guys went through their pregame ritual all over again. Like Precious went in and did his whole pregame just over again to keep himself game ready, as he put it. I love hearing all this stuff. These dudes are badasses. These guys take their jobs very seriously as teammates and as professionals and as athletes. And I love who we have on this team right now so much. The synergy and the camaraderie between the Raptors right now is off the charts. These guys are so fun to watch. And you see it when they play on the court, the way they're sharing the ball, the way they trust each other, the way that they work together. It's so beautiful. This is the way basketball is supposed to be played. They're playing it the correct way, the right way. And it's so joyful to watch them play and pass off each other, all the different stuff going on. Like Scotty Barnes last night was amazing with his passes last night. He showed us a little bit of everything, whether it's like long court passes ahead, whether it was just passing, kicking it out to OG for a three, or, the feeding to the low post. The way he throws the ball to OG when he's down low with a smaller defender is really smart. He leads him with the pass, which means he gets it up over both of them so that it's like he's catching it like a wide receiver would a quarterback's pass. And that's really tough to do because you can screw that up real easy, where the guy can't get to it or the defender stops it and blocks it or gets it themselves. And Scotty's a master at passing right now. We're going to see some triple doubles from Scotty Barnes in the months and years to come. This guy is going to be getting triple doubles. I'm really excited about it. All right, let's keep going. All right, I love all the comments. I'm going to get on them right now here. All right, excuse me. My voice is still, excuse me, one more time. All right. Andrew saying, let's go. Understated with the parentheses. Let's keep going. Monique said, Armani Brooks using his new contract. Well, man, wasn't it awesome? Now, all right, I understand what y'all were talking about with Doug Smith now, finally, more today than I did yesterday, because I missed that whole thing that he did. In some ways, I'm like, did he really do something wrong? But yeah, maybe he did do something wrong, because basically to me, what he did was he just released the information that he knew early before they had actually did it. And the fact that it was a 2-year, multi-year contract, a lot of people were like, don't fuck with us. Is this true? And then he turned around and he's trying to be cheeky and he said, oh, it's a joke. Well, that's where he fucked up. He shouldn't have said that it was a joke. He should have let that tweet just ride and say, yeah, I stand by my information. I have inside sources. And then when the real reality and the real news came out under Shams, then he would just sound like he had the scoop. But instead, he got cheeky and he got a little egotistical, and he made things really bad for himself. Like, people are calling for his head now. People are saying, you're a journalist. You should have journalistic integrity and not lie to the people and make this up. Now, people thought it was far-fetched that we would give a 2-year contract to a G League 10-day contract guy like him, but I didn't, and that made sense. And that's why when I heard the news, I was like, yeah, a 2-year contract, that makes sense, because they pay him for the remainder of this year, and he has to be under contract for next year so that we retain his rights. So I didn't think what Doug Smith did was too awful. I just think that his response and how he handled the backlash is really bad. Like you're not doing yourself any favors, Doug Smith. You probably need to be quiet. Like, look, I respect the man. I think he's written the greatest book ever written by about the Raptors. Doug Smith has. He has. He's written the greatest book about the Raptors ever. And he is really important. And some people are making the argument, well, you're old and out of touch. You should go away. No, that's not how it works with journalism. You want people like Doug Smith around because they have perspective from the very beginning. They have written articles about the team from the very beginning. He's very valuable. He's a historian. He's somebody who has stood there and watched the team the whole time. And that's why he's valuable at his insight because he's had insight all the way through. Now, some people may say he's old, he's out of touch, and all this stuff, but this is true about sports journalism. You want people to stick in those spots because this is how you build perspective over time. You can't keep bringing in new people like we're talking about changing coaches, changing players in the NBA. It's the same kind of thing. You want continuity. You want somebody who knows what they're talking about because they've been writing about it for 20, 30 years. And that's why I don't agree with people calling for his head right now. He needs to apologize and he may need to go on a goodwill tour where he is very factual and he cuts out his little side gig as a stand-up comic. Yeah, Doug, you may need to do that. You may need to go back to the hard school of hard journalism and stop trying to be funny. Yeah, but listen, I don't think he should lose his job over this. If he does, then so be it. Then maybe it was too bad that he did what he did. But this whole situation is really interesting and crazy to me. But anyway, I just wanted to say my little 2 cents on the Doug Smith thing and my perspective, and that's it, basically, right there. All right, let's keep going. But Armani, getting back to Monique's point, Armani was fantastic. It must have felt real good to him to get a real contract in the NBA. That was like a dream day for him. And like he came out and he hit his first three, and I was like, yeah, he feels good about getting that pen to paper. Oh yeah, he does. He came out there and bombed his first three, and he looked fantastic once again. The things that I am visualizing about Armani and how he works within our roster are really, really fantastic. Once again, he got another block last night, y'all. And his defensive skills are very similar to Gary Trent in some ways. And like I'm really excited just having another really quick, agile guy on the court who has long arms, even though he's shorter, he has really long arm wingspan, and he's going to be very active and agitating. And you can tell he's taken to heart the advice from Nick Nurse the last couple of days to get more aggressive because even last night he was all over the place and on people. And I love the fact that he doesn't hurt us in any kind of way. It seems like he's very astute and he's picked up our schemes and things like that so quickly. Like this dude's a keeper. Seriously, I have a feeling about him. There's something about him that tells me that this dude is going to hit some big shots for Raptors and Raptors history. That Armani Brooks is, yeah. So I'm very excited about this. And it was really awesome to see, Monique. That, it's the kind of thing like where you get like verified, you get like bona fide. And that's what happened to him yesterday. He got bona fide, even if Doug Smith did a tasteless tweet preemptively ahead of it, he was correct. So, and that people were saying, like, well, what if his family reads that his tweet and they're like, oh my gosh, you got it, and it wasn't true? That's really mean to do. Well, that's the thing. If Doug Smith had been incorrect and he had been telling a false thing and he was just messing with people that badly, then I would have been like, yeah, that is a really bad thing. But he was just trying to get the scoop out. And when people came to him probably with the energy to say, what, 2 years? That's crazy or something like that. They didn't believe him. And he was like going along with it. Yeah, I'm just kidding. It's a joke. That's how I think he was acting. It wasn't, he was trying to be factual. It's just that people thought it was a joke. And then he made a joke of being a joke out of it on top of it. So that whole situation's messy. And Doug, you may think twice about being funny in the future. Oh yeah, you really should. Anderson, I think 47 wins will clinch the 6th seed. 47 wins. Okay, Andrew, what are we at? We're at 42 now. We have a over 500 record for the season for sure. So we need to get 5 out of the last 8. That's what Andrew's saying. I think that's extremely doable. Very, very doable with what I'm seeing on the calendar, that what we got left. We have a couple more cream puffs like Indiana last night, and that those should be penciled in as wins for sure. And then we're going to steal some wins against top teams. We're going to beat some of these top teams. These next two are going to be very telling. Boston and Minnesota, right in a row, and they're playing each other tonight. Yeah, this is really great that like we get such disadvantages with the back-to-backs. That last Chicago game we played was basically a scheduled loss because of the way it was behind that Philadelphia game last weekend. And now Boston's got to go to Minnesota, play the Timberwolves tonight, and then they got to turn around, jump the border, and play us tomorrow. So they're going to be on the second night of a back-to-back against us. That is a great advantage. That is a huge advantage for tomorrow night. And I hope the Raptors really bring the energy and really make these guys tired by the third quarter. We really need that. Is a huge strategy for. I don't want to get too far into the preview for tomorrow, but that is part of what I'm going to be talking about, is tiring the Celtics team out on the second night of a back-to-back. Oh yeah, we can do this. We can do this. All right, let's keep going. Tom Duke saying picking up win sticks in the six. Picking up win sticks in the six, taking out the little green man, GT Jr. and Malachi back, perhaps a full squad that is literally burning down places, literally burning down the house. Talking heads, burning down the house. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. It's so crazy. It was such a realistic metaphor for the style of play and the way the Raptors are playing right now. They're just hot. They're hot. They're on fire. And this is what we see in the arena. The arena starts catching on fire. What? This is crazy. Oh my gosh. Some of the images of the flame coming out of the speaker with the people below, and you realize just how serious and very dangerous this situation could have been. Like they're saying that, normally we smell some smoke from the pyro before the game, but it was smelling a little weird, a little more funky, a little more lingering around. There was a little bit more funk in the building last night. Oh yeah. And they were like, what is this? This is weird. I know that a lot of the fans are upset that came to the game. Like some people were saying that they had family that came in town, like Thad Young had his whole family there for the game. And whatchamacallit, Paul Jones was saying he had family from Halifax and they're really disappointed. Well, they get their money back. And, they got to see free basketball for almost a half of the game. And that's pretty good. You get your money back, you got free basketball. Don't get upset. And, you can say that you were at the game where the speaker caught fire. And that's kind of cool in itself. Yeah, I was at the speaker fire game. Woo, rock and roll. Yeah. That kind of stuff. Oh, man, it's great. All right. Monique's saying winning record, how sweet it is. Yes, for sure. Ensured with 42 wins last night that we will have an above 500 record. We will not be 41-41. We will be at least 42 and something, because that is a winning record. And that is exactly what I want to thumb my nose at all the NBA experts who said we wouldn't be in the playoffs. We wouldn't be a winning team. We wouldn't be all this kind of stuff. Well, you're seeing what we are. Y'all better recognize and give us the real respect that we deserve, because this team is a real, legit NBA contender in the playoffs, and we're coming quick as the dark horse to do a lot of badass shit. Because like they were saying last night, it's just like St. Peter, baby. You get in that vibe, you get in that groove. You can do things way above what people expect of you. It's just really where you catch your vibe and you catch getting going good. And it's when you do that, it may be timed up with going in the playoffs, and then you just start cruising. And I'm going to tell you right now, Cleveland didn't look ready for the playoffs the other night. I'll tell you, we do. We look real ready for the playoffs, and we got lots of good tune-up games coming up. I feel like our schedule is really easy right now, partly because the NBA thought, let's fuck up the Raptors during the season, and we know by the time they get to their last 10 games of the home stretch that they will be all messed up and they will be irrelevant to the playoff race because they won't be anywhere near coming near it. Well, you were wrong, NBA, and now we have a cushy-ass schedule. You front-loaded it, made it hard on us for all year, and now we're getting the reward of some of the easy games that we could have had spread out over the whole schedule, and it's really going to come in very handy for us in this home stretch that we are going to really have an advantage because they front-loaded our schedule. So they're sticking it to you. These games weren't supposed to matter, but they do, and we're making the most of them. Oh, yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. G saying, Nurse said, add that to the list. Never a dull moment as a Raptors fan. Listen, man, this is crazy. Like the stuff that the Raptors franchise has been through over the years, all the crazy kind of games, like sure, don't let the fans back in the arena. Our team's all about being ready to play with an empty, sterile, no noise arena. We are used to it. Those Pacers were not used to it. They came back out after the delay and they was really weird to them. They're like, there's no fans in here. This is spooky. Woo! Echo, 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 echo. It was that kind of stuff. They hadn't seen that this year. Meanwhile, we're ready to play anywhere, anytime, any place. You put us in Tampa, you put us without any fans, you do whatever the fuck you want. The Raptors will show up with their briefcase and put it down and be business. It's business time, baby, because that's what we're doing. It's crazy. Like these dudes are true pros. And I love the Raptors so much for the way they carry themselves, the way they're so together as a team, Miami Heat, and they are just badasses. It's just a beautiful thing. This is what's happening in Toronto right now in the YYZ, in the rock and roll speaker arena. Oh, yeah, it's on fire. It's so crazy. Oh, my gosh. All right. Andrew's saying the roof is on fire. We don't need no water. Let the motherfucker burn. Yeah, no, don't let it burn. That's our home arena. Put it out, please, fire people. And you did a great job. Thank you so much. Toronto Fire Department. You guys are badasses. Honestly, like it's really got to be crazy. Like all of a sudden, there's no fans in the stands, and they just see firemen standing there, and the refs, the teams, the coaches, they're all probably like, "What the fuck is going on?" And they kept playing. Like that in itself, during that whole period of time where they were evacuating some of the fans, but still playing the second quarter, to me was like true professionalism. Like this building has some problem with it. There's firemen in there and there's people leaving, but you guys keep playing, keep making shots, keep executing your game plan, even though this building is dubiously in trouble. It's like that is a true ultimate pro. That is like the woman who took a shit in the McDonald's because anyway, I don't even go into that story. But all right, let's keep going. Kenny's saying, best comment from Jack and Matt. He was laughing for 10 minutes. I was too. This is seriously. We didn't know we came in for comedy hour. Like Jack Armstrong, you're badass. We see what happens. You're like gremlins. You let them stay up past midnight and they start saying something crazy. Well, you've let Jack get an hour delay and get a little, I don't know what he's doing. Maybe get some little liquid courage. I don't know what Jack does in an hour delay in the Air Canada Center. Maybe he's going to the bar. Maybe he's doing something. He comes back and then boom, name drop. That's not the name you wanted to drop. And Kayla Gray comes back. Kayla Gray, this is a family program. We're going to keep it classy. It's so good. It's so good. And I was waiting. I watched the Raptors nightcap last night with Randy, and I wanted them to burn Jack for making his mistake, but they didn't. They didn't bring it up. They're trying to let it go because they don't want this to become a thing. The Ron Jeremy thing's going to be a thing. That clip is going to be something that needs to be archived in the Raptors history. I know some people went and got it and they put it up on Twitter. Thank God, because it does need to be in the archives. We do need to have this soundbite of Jack Armstrong and Matt Devlin just giggling like a schoolgirl afterwards. It's just so hilarious. Oh my gosh, Kenny, you were probably just like me. We laughed for a pure 5 to 10 minutes. And this is the kind of stuff this world needs. With the pandemic recently and this fucking wars going on and stuff like that. Yeah, we need to laugh at silly ass shit like this just for a little while and forget our problems and just hilarious. It was hilarious. It's like honestly one of the, I think his top 3 Jack moment all time for sure. All right, let's keep going. Monique staying on task. Scotty Barnes is better than Mobley. Yes, he's above him in the standings now. If you look at their performances in important games last night, he outclassed and outbeat him by far. He had 19 points last night. Mobley only got like 9 points. And, Cleveland lost. And Toronto won. And these are things that the NBA Rookie of the Year voters need to look at. You need to look at this stuff now. If you're using these criteria all year and you're saying that Sky's not as good as Evan because of winning record, because of individual stats, well, go look at them again, people who are making up your minds about Rookie of the Year. And I love Matt Devlin. He is doing such a good job selling our team, whether it's Pascal, All-NBA, Siakam, Fred, All-Star, Van Vliet, and now it's Scotty Roy. Yes, we want him to push him. because what happens is our highlights get shown in the States and they hear Matt Devlin's voice say, Scotty Roy, Scotty Roy. And that is part of how we promote him. That may be the best way that we promote him for that award is Matt Devlin's call, putting it out there and putting it into force. You are doing a real service to the Raptors, Matt Devlin. Keep doing this because you did, in a way, will Fred VanVleet to the All-Star. You were the one who was putting it out there as the mouthpiece of the Raptors, putting it out there. Fred is an All-Star. You said it over and over again this season, and you did a good job. And now I see what you're doing with Pascal and Scotty. And keep going, because you will win them over with your exciting call and Scotty Roy stuff. That is so fantastic, Matt Devlin. Kudos. You guys are so entertaining and silly. I love you guys so much right now. You're amazing. Oh my gosh. So good. So good. Tom Duke saying, burn, mofo, burn. Yeah. Listen. We just got to keep going. Ansem, thank you. Yeah, get those likes up, please. I mean, I'm not really asking for them. I figure I'll get them either way, whatever. If I don't, I don't. I'm just here doing what I do. And if you like it, I hope you'll hit it. So let's just say, all right, Raymond Jacobs saying, I appreciate that, Ansel. Ron Jeremy was the main porn star when Matt and Jack were growing up. Oh, yeah, I know. I was there, too. I know who Ron Jeremy is. I'm familiar with his work. And, I think that's just hilarious. Because it's like, Jack, you've been watching some old 70s porn and 80s porn, haven't you, Jack? It's like that name pops into your head right then. It's like just hilarious, man. Oh, my gosh. So good. So good. So good. All right, let me keep going. We are laughing today. That's right. We are laughing today. All right, so many good comments. I'm going to start catching up, guys. Sorry. All right, Monique say, where's the American media now? We did it. Listen, they're going to get some attention just from that fire. That'll be on ESPN and they'll talk about it. And sports fans love this kind of crazy shit. Like I said, how many times has there been a fire delay in sports? There's always like a rain delay or, stuff like that, a delay with condensation, but there's hardly ever a fire delay. And that is really interesting and weird in itself. That like there's something very rock and roll about this. I'm telling you right now. Raymond Jacob is saying, I bet they both seen a ton of Ron's movies back in high school days. Of course. Come on, let's not get it twisted. I think most people have seen at least one Ron Jeremy movie or clip or something, or just know that, okay, that's that little gross man that looks like Mario and he has a huge penis. Yeah, okay, yeah, we understand who that is. But yeah, there's like a lot of funny memes out today of like kids asking their dad who Ron Jeremy is because of Jack Armstrong. Oh, so good, so hilarious, man. It's so funny. Monique saying, let's hope Jason Tatum doesn't go off. Yeah, I'm going to go look at their stats. I'll see who's been really killing it for them. I've been hearing a lot of talk about Time Lord Robert Williams and his defensive impact. There's an article that came out recently, and it has like on the download who the best defensive players in the league are. And Fred VanVleet's name was on that list with Robert Williams. And they also have Marcus Smart on there. But I would like to see, they should have also included Chris Boucher on that list because he was actually in the study also. And they could have easily put him on that list also. They didn't want to give us two Raptors. They put two Celtics on that list, but they won't put two Raptors, even though Chris Boucher is actually statistically could have been in that article also. So very interesting. Evelyn, good to see you again, Evelyn. Always good to see you. What a feeling when your Raptors had a good game in spite of a weird fire last night. Let's go Raptors. Yes, Evelyn. They can try and stop us any which way. We're like the mail. It doesn't matter if it's a snowstorm, it's the rain. There is snow out there today in Toronto, by the way. Or it doesn't matter what any of that kind of stuff. The Raptors will deliver. They will get it done. That's why I was saying, like they kept saying, oh, it's unfortunate that they have to stop because they're playing so hot. And I do agree with that. It's like you get in the zone and it's hard to keep your hands warm and keep going in the heat. And that's a disadvantage. But I was like, this doesn't matter in this game. The talent levels between the Pacers and the Raptors is just so off kilter and just not even that it doesn't matter when we play them. We could play them at any time of the night and we would beat their ass. It's just how it's going to be. But yeah, I love the professionalism of the Raptors last night. Really, really professional. Didn't take this team lightly and they came out aggressive and squashed them. They did exactly what they needed to do to ensure the win no matter what. Fantastic stuff. Fan Chung saying, have the Raptors figured out how to play against the zone defense or are the Pacers not good enough to defend? I think it's a little bit of both. The Pacers really didn't have very good defensive players at all. There's a wide open lane, and we could have done anything we wanted to last night, and we really kind of did. And that's why we got a 40-point win. So yeah, I would lean more towards it was probably bad defense more than we've completely figured out the zone, because constantly people are throwing the zone at us because we do have trouble with it. But I think that's going to change now with Gary coming back also, now that OG's back, because the spacing on everything on the floor is just too good. Like the zone, they can't do it with OG and everybody out there. Maybe this zone period that we've seen recently really coincided with OG being gone, and that the zone was super effective when we were down to only a few guys like Pascal and Fred and Scotty or something like that as far as what they do. And that now that OG's back and with Gary back also, that like the zone will be really ineffective because we have so many good outside shooters. And Armani Brooks is emerging now also. So yeah, I think it really was more that they're really bad defensively, and we are still having some problems with the zone, but we're working them out and we're getting better with it. We were much worse against the zone. If you think about a couple weeks ago where it couldn't do anything against it, it was really frustrating. But they're doing better. They're finding more success against the zone, but it is still something, a weakness that other teams are using against us, which isn't good. Scott B said Toronto set the building on fire last night. With Precious with those 4 for 4 threes is crazy. Banana Bread Tan says, let's go. Armani Brooks is a nice surprise. He really is. He's a great surprise. I feel real good about this kid. I feel like listening to his after game interview last night, he is really grateful. He specifically said he really appreciates the Toronto Raptors franchise for giving him this opportunity. And you know what? He's got to be licking his chops. He's got to be feeling like, wow, what a great position I've just been thrown into. I'm on a really badass team, a team that with the coach that was encouraging me to do stuff that I love to do on the court already. And I'm set up for success, and I'm fitting in, and I'm like doing good things that people love me for it. Like the crowd's behind me. It's like, it's got to be so gratifying to somebody who's just on the fringe of making the league. And then boom, you get that guaranteed contract and it's working out, and you have promise for the playoffs and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's got to be like a dream weekend for Armani Brooks. This last couple weeks being with the Raptors had probably been like a dream for him, and he's got to pinch himself because good things are happening so good to him right now. It's really awesome. Scott B is saying not just Precious either. They were connected on a level. They were shooting 70% at the time when they suspended the game. And like I look at their shooting percentages for the whole night, guys, and let's look at this. Pascal was 10 for 15 last night, 23 points. OG 6 for 9. Barnes 8 of 11. Birch 3 of 4. You know, Fred was one of the worst, and he was 50% shooting, 2 of 4. Thad 4 of 8. Boucher 6 of 10. Precious 7 of 12. You know, that's indicative of a poor defense. That's indicative that we can get such good quality shots and hit them so easily, because we really were doing whatever the fuck we wanted to. Those Pacers have nobody down low to stop anybody. And like, honestly, that's a really bad team, like with who they're missing and stuff like that. And they really are shut down for the season. And they are trying to collect the L's at this point. Now that they're eliminated, try and get that better positioning to get a better draft pick. Because, you know, they get lower, that they get more ping pong balls, and then maybe they mess around and get the number 4 pick like we did. Who knows? Something like that. So let's keep going. Yeah, a lot of them were all hitting, Scott, for sure. It's really, really cool. Really, really cool. Let's see. I have not seen yet. We want the 4 or 5 seed. Yeah, I don't know if the 4 is realistic unless one of those top 4 teams, like if Miami just plummets, maybe. But other than that, I think those other teams are pretty strong, and there's a good enough at this point, you really got to see if there's 3 games difference between teams. It's not realistic, probably, that there's going to be much movement between them. But any games or any teams in the standings that are within each other 3 games, then yeah, there could still be movement, especially at the top in the Eastern Conference. They're all like 0.5 behind 2 of the top, Philadelphia and Miami, and then 0.5 behind them, Milwaukee and Boston. That's so close. This is a really exciting end of the season. And like I said, I'm going to make a clip this summer about why this was one of the greatest NBA seasons ever. in the history of the NBA. It's one of the most entertaining and fun seasons in a lot of ways. And we'll talk about it. And this ending, the way that the playoff race is stacking up, and even with the scoring title race with LeBron and all those guys at the top trying to win the scoring title, is exciting because there's so much to play for at the end of the regular season when normally there's nothing to, some teams are just shutting down or just staying on cruise control to get in the playoffs without any injuries. But these games all matter all over the place in both conferences, Western Conference and Eastern Conference. There's meaningful basketball being played in the last 10 games by most teams. And that's really great for the league because that's boring at the end of the year. Usually it's just kind of like the rigmarole going through the last couple paces of the season, but it really matters right now. And it's exciting because it's day to day, very different. It's really exciting. Yeah, Scott, I would hope for the fifth. We could get maybe the fifth, but I can't see us getting the fourth. I don't think we'll get a home court advantage in the playoffs, but that's fine. We are road warriors. We play on the road, baby. We're better off on the road in a lot of ways. Oh, yeah. Monique's saying Armani is like Lou Williams 2.0. I kind of like that. I can see kind of the parallels. I mean, listen, Lou Williams is a talent in his whole self. Like, I mean, he's kind of got that street ball, like kind of real thing to him. I'd have to see more of Armani Brooks to really give him that kind of a comparison as far as things. Maybe in a couple of years, if he comes like a double-digit score off the bench or something like that, then we can start saying he's like Lou Will. But he does kind of have a kind of a three-point shooting strategy or way about him that's similar to Lou Williams. So I will give you that at least, Mooney. Does Gary Trent Jr. play tomorrow? They're saying so. Yeah, he could probably have played last night, but they looked at the opponent and they're probably like, well, let's just hold him out. And then, of course, Fred sitting after the break was really smart. It's a similar thing, like they said, to MLB pitcher. They ramp him up and get him ready for the game. And then if there's a rain delay, they take him out. They have to bring somebody else in because they don't want him to go through the whole ramp up twice. And that it didn't matter. It was fine. It was great for Armani. He got the start after that and play most of the end of the game. So, that was all good management. I think it was good management holding Gary for one more game. And yeah, I do expect him for Boston tomorrow. I really do. I think that he was ready yesterday and that we just held him out one more time just because of the caliber of the team we were playing. And we didn't need him. So we need all hands on deck tomorrow. And I think Gary will show up as far as things because he's ready. He's not that hurt. His toe feels good. His toe feels good right now. All right, let's keep going. Scott's saying Armani is special. Can't wait to see Raptors development does with him. I know. This is the thing. These guys, like, we really see what happens when you put these wheels on the ground with these really young, great, talented players in a development league. This is like you put them in this environment and you see how they grow, and it's amazing. It's like they're on steroids, like with their growth and the exponential development that's happening so quickly with Scotty and Precious. That kind of stuff happens with Armani, and a lot of it is a real trust and love of the system and what they're doing with Nick Nurse. They see it and they listen, and there's no constructive criticism that they won't hear. Sometimes there's knuckleheads on a team that don't like hearing negative comments about what they're doing on the court. And the Raptors are really good about teaching moments, and they make teaching moments really easy for the player to take in the information and make the adjustment without the ego bruising and stuff like that. That's really important for teams. And that is part of the reason why there's a disconnect between coaches and players on a lot of teams in the NBA. Is that like they have to really trust their coach has their best interests as far as their own personal goals as an NBA player. And also they have to trust their coach that they're successful and competent, that they know what they're talking about, that what they say will happen. And if they execute, it'll come out all right, because sometimes they'll do what the coach says and it doesn't happen that way. So they really have to buy in and trust the coach and do that kind of stuff. And when you have that all going in the right environment and setting, you see what happens with the Raptors. You have incredible development all around, guys helping each other all kinds of different ways, and everybody is shooting up as far as elevating their game. And I love it. And Armani, yeah, he's going to be interesting to see what kind of ceilings and stuff like that. Of course, there's some limits to him, but I think there's also some real athletic traits about him that are very useful. And if they're mined and figured out in development ways, they could be really utilized in game situations. I really like the idea about him being a guard on the ball and really being like a pest with his long arms and his quick lateralness and all over the place. Like I fully expect to see him get a lot of steals for the rest of the time while he's playing. Like when he's out there, we want to see him get steals. We want to see him play really big defensive stuff. And he's up for the challenge. I can tell. Let's keep going. Raymond Jacobs saying, anyone know if they allowed fans outside to watch Jurassic Park, or did everyone go home? They should have streamed it outside. Well, it's a weird situation, Raymond, when you're not sure how long the delay will be. You don't want to have a huge crowd. Like part of putting on big sporting events and concerts and stuff is crowd control management. There are people that think about that kind of logistics. I worked in the Air Canada Center for many years with Stevie Roots making the Mr. Sub, and I saw some crazy situations while I was working in that building. There was one night where Stevie and I were at the Mr. Sub stand at section 112, and they came through while everybody was in the arena. It was a Leaf game. It wasn't a Raptor game. It was a Leaf game, and they had the bomb sniffing dog, and they were sniffing our sub stand for a bomb because somebody had called in a bomb threat to the building. And on the download, they needed to go around and search for it without alerting the whole crowd and making them freak out and do like, there's a fire in the theater, and everybody runs out and get crazy and stuff like that. There's chaos and people are getting hurt. No, they have to be really smart and careful in these situations. And they never let that crowd know that they had a bomb threat that night. We knew because we were employees and we saw them how they were doing things while they were in there watching the game. And there was no bomb, and they didn't ever tell anybody, and everything was fine. But that kind of stuff happens all the time. Like another case is a Guns N' Roses concert that I worked in the early 2000s. Axel pulled one of his bullshit where went to Brass Rail and he hung out for 4 hours before the concert, and he didn't show up on time. They had Mix Master Mike open, and he played his set, and then Guns N' Roses just wasn't coming because they weren't in the building. They were still down the street at the strip club on Young Street, and they made the crowd wait for like 2 hours. And part of the problem was that they were still serving alcohol to the Guns N' Roses crowd, and they were getting shit-faced and they were getting rowdy, and they were like, what's going on? All this kind of stuff. And it was getting really scary. Like the ushers and the security were really worried about there being a riot, because it had happened in places like Vancouver already, a similar kind of thing. Axel being full of shit and coming to the arena late and making everybody wait. And then people are throwing shit and stuff like that. So what they did is really smart, and it's kind of crazy. They cut off the alcohol. They stopped serving them because they knew they were just feeding up more of a problem by doing that. And then one of the cameramen in the arena with the Jumbotron, it was really weird. He kept putting the camera on very attractive women in the crowd. And then what happened, you guys may think this is a little creepy and crazy, but it really worked. It kept the crowd in control until Guns N' Roses finally got there and did do the show. They kept showing an attractive woman in the crowd, and everybody in the crowd, being Guns N' Roses crowd, was like, show your tits, show your tits. And you know what? These girls were Guns N' Roses fans, so they were like, yeah, I'm all about that world. And we had this really crazy Jumbotron show for like 20 minutes of just the cameraman finding attractive girls in the crowd and then everybody trying to get them to lift their shirt. And it worked, as crazy and deranged as it all sound, but it kept the crowd calm, a drunk, crazy crowd, until Axl Rose showed up. So these kind of situations are crazy with big crowds. You need to be able to control them, and you can't have them just hanging around outside waiting when you don't know if the arena will actually be safe to come in. And there were also other things they were saying that because of the way they had to put the fire out, there was a lot of chemicals that were sprayed out by the extinguisher. And there was also residue and things coming down from the speaker in the seats where they were sitting. Now, some of the announcers, I think Jack said it, that the crowd was so orderly with leaving the arena, they should have been able to just come right back in. But it really is a logistics thing. When you have an arena and you have a crowd, you have to think about the mob. You have to think about the mentality of what's going on, and you don't want anything crazy to go on. So they basically did have to tell them, you have to go home. Because there's no rhyme or reason or figuring it all out. And you have to reset the whole event. You have to figure out all the ticket things and come and get in their seats. It just takes too long. And the fact was that they were looking at, well, do we want to finish this game, or do we want to get the crowd in and try and finish the game with it? Well, it's too much work to get the crowd in and also finish the game in a timely manner, because it would have taken too long to get everybody back in and get settled and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it just wasn't going to work. They did it exactly the right way. Get them out of there because it's not safe. and refund them the money. And they got some free basketball, and that's basically it. But yeah, you always have to worry about that in arenas, whether it's that bomb threat story I just told you, or a really drunk, crazy crowd that's waiting for Axl Rose, something like that. So, it's crazy. You do have to worry about that stuff because there's a lot of lawsuits, there's a lot of liability, there's a lot of dangerous things that can happen. Like if a speaker, God forbid, had fallen in the Air Canada Center last night and some people died, that would have been an awful tragedy. So they have to really, really side on the side of caution as far as they can, as much as they can. And as a society in Canada, we've shown we're really, really about safety, especially with our building. Oh yeah, we are this year. We really are. Let's keep going. But yeah, they could have maybe figured something out like that. But last night wasn't a pleasant night to stand outside. I don't think the fans in the 100 section of the Scotiabank Arena were going to want to watch the game in Jurassic Park outside. It was about to snow at midnight, and it did snow. So yeah, it's just the best thing to do. They probably, a lot of them went to Real Sports, or they went next door. They went to a couple bars in downtown, and they helped the local economy of Toronto downtown with the bars and watched the game there. And the other great thing is everybody got to see Jack Armstrong's Ron Jeremy flub. They got to go home and see it. So if you were in the home crowd and you were sitting in the arena, you wouldn't have heard it. So you had to go home, get that time to get there, and then you get that fun too of it. So it's kind of like, anyway, Tom Duke's saying, great news that the Celtics are playing versus the Wolves on fire lately. They are not looking forward to their back-to-back. We're playing two of the hottest teams in the NBA in the next two games, the Celtics and the Timberwolves, and they got to clash tonight. So something's got to give. Just like that Cleveland-Chicago game last night, something had to give. And Chicago beat them. Thank God. Good job, DeMar. I'm glad it was y'all. And you did really help us and give us a solid by putting us above Cleveland by a whole game. So, I want to see Minnesota kick their ass tonight in some ways, but also I kind of want to see Boston win so they feel good and maybe they let down for tomorrow when we face them. Because maybe if Minnesota beats them, they may have more get back because it's more important for them to win. So maybe we want to root for the Boston Celtics to beat this Timberwolves, but have a really tough game where it's very much a toe-to-toe and drag it out. And then they come in exhausted on Monday and they're not as fired up because they're not coming off of a loss. So in some ways, that's the way I'm thinking with the psychology. Play them good, Timberwolves. We don't care if they win this game. We don't care about their standings up above us. Boston's going to probably stay above us. So let the Celtics win tonight, but then hopefully they'll have a letdown tomorrow and we can get down. And that's what I'm looking at right now. But yeah, it's an advantage for us for sure that they've got to play a Minnesota team that's so hot and playing so well right now. Cat himself and Anthony Edwards, those guys are badasses. And I love the whole thing with Anthony Edwards watching the guy get his haircut at the game the other night. If you haven't seen that clip, go watch it. It's just funny, silly shit. All right, let's keep going. Marlon Toby, how precious is it that Achua hit those threes last night, almost back to back? He was on fire. Like, the dude is badass. Like, honestly, we talk about Scotty's promise and how much he's going to be a superstar in this league. We need to say the same stuff about Precious. Like, honestly, in a lot of ways, they're equal in what they're doing right now and the promise and the future of how badass they could be. Like, some of the stuff that Precious is doing right now that's super impressing me is he's making really good decisions, whether to drive, where to take the shot, and collecting himself in the moment and getting these really easy, quick, short shots. He's recognizing when he has a smaller player on him and he can bully them and go to the basket and shoot over them. And then he's recognizing when he has a bigger guy on him and they're slower than him and he can get around them and try and dunk it. And his decision making and the things he's doing is just really smart. Like, I don't understand this. Miami, you really dropped the ball with your aptitude and your development, your team. I'm starting to think because of the friction that y'all have had this week and that you've just been so blind to this treasure of Precious that I really don't have as much confidence in the Miami Heat organization overall as I did at the beginning of the season. I was saying that y'all were just like us, that you were like the creme de la creme of NBA franchises, but I don't believe that anymore. That you missed the mark with Precious and understanding just how good he's going to be. And, people are really saying it. I've seen it on Twitter a couple of times. We traded a 36-year-old point guard for him. And that's what I'm saying. This whole time, we won this Lowry deal. And they can laugh and think that they won it all they want, Miami Heat Nation. But no, you did not. Because the future is so bright for Precious. And like he's badass. Like he's an all-around offensive player. He could be doing stuff like what Giannis does. Like he can be these guys could be dominant players on any team in this league. And it may be that we have too many good guys, and some of them are going to have to leave because they're going to be so good in like the next couple years that we just can't keep them all. I hate saying that, but in some ways they may price us out. Like, because some of these guys are so good. I don't know. Tannenbaum, try and keep them all. Pay them all the max if you can. I don't know the salary cap rules. Go into the luxury tax. Do whatever you can to keep this band of brothers together because this team is badass together and it's all the pieces matter. They matter. I'm telling you. Let's keep going. Dan's here. Good to see Dan. I love you, Dan. Fun stuff last night. Fun stuff in the Gimme game thread and all kinds of stuff. Hilarious. All right, let's see what Dan's saying. I think there was Justin Bieber concert there the night before. Justin Bieber. Oh my gosh, you're blaming the Biebs for this. It could be. Like, I don't know. That's crazy. Like, how does this happen? Like, is there any text for like concerts, like roadies out there that are watching me? Can you explain to me how a speaker spontaneously catches fire or is just all of a sudden on fire? Is this like a pyrotechnic that came up and hit the speaker and lit it on fire? Or is it just that the rock and roll is too good in the Air Canada Center that it just spontaneous erupts fire and flames out of the speaker? I want to know how this happens. What is the process that a speaker is just on fire all of a sudden? Please, somebody enlighten me on this, how this happens. And if it's Justin Bieber's fault, yeah, we can blame him for a lot of stuff. We'll blame him for a lot of stuff. We've always wanted to trade Bieber for an American. Make some trades, just like that Chappelle Show sketch. Canada wants to trade Justin Bieber for someone. All right, please, Kyle Lowry. We'll trade Justin Bieber for Kyle Lowry right now. Please, let's make the deal. All right, let's keep going. Monique's saying Fred's injury is more and more concerning. Yeah, it is and it isn't. I mean, listen, he's managing it. He's still out there playing. You know, it really, hopefully, there is a luxury to not having to play him too much on the stretch run and really let him rest and do what he can. I know it sucks and it's tough to see, but listen, every year there's pros like Fred that play half hurt for a good chunk of the season, and then they still get into the playoffs and they still play hurt then. And they're still waiting to do any kind of surgery and stuff like that when it's all over. And that's what Fred's going to do. He's going to gut it out. He's a true pro. He's an old school throwback. Like Isaiah Thomas broke his hand and he kept playing in the finals one year. That's that kind of mentality. That's an old school mentality that you know that this is important, the chase, and that you do things a little different. When you are involved in the chase, you make more riskier choices with your injuries and what you're going through just to make your team be there for your team. And I commend him for it. He knows more than anybody else because he's feeling his body himself. And he knows what he should be doing and he shouldn't be doing. And I know he's going to balance it right and they're going to figure it out. And it's going to be okay. We have the best sports medicine. We have Dr. McKechnie. Do not worry about Fred VanVleet. He has Dr. McKechnie looking after him and making sure that his body is okay for being able to play and stuff like that. They're not going to overdo him. And it was really, really smart that he didn't come back and play after the stoppage of play. That was really, really smart by the team. Dan's saying, I think Jack was feeling weird about it. He better. Yeah, I think he is. You know, this weekend's been weird for old guard Raptors media covers with Doug Smith's whole kerfuffle over his tweet. And now Jack Armstrong naming a very nefarious, awful person who's going to go to prison for the rest of his life very soon. If he's already in there, he's in there. He's going to be in there for the rest of his life because he's a sick, disgusting person who did disgusting things to women. In the name of I'm a porn star and I can do this. You know, fuck that. You and Ric Flair are not exempt from your ugly, disgusting behavior. And, you know, you pay for it eventually, Ron Jeremy, and that's how it happens. But, yeah, I think he's really embarrassed. I think, obviously, the optics of the whole situation, Dan, is we now know that Jack likes to jack it. Yeah, that's obviously what we learned last night, that Jack has Jack in hand, has little Jack in hand, and he's been perusing some vintage pornos. Yeah, he has. So, Jack Armstrong, you're busted. But you know what? Let's remove the stigma from this. He is a grown adult. He is a man over 18. He can watch these kind of flicks if he wants to. Let's stop stigmatizing this. So what? He knew a porn star's name and he said it by accident on the thing. He should not lose his job or get in trouble for this. If he gets in any trouble for this, I'm going to be really mad because it's freedom of speech. And like, I am with my mouth on this live stream. I fuck up and say the wrong name all the time. It's just natural. You do this kind of stuff, especially like I said, Jack was up later than his bedtime last night. It was already cocktail time by the time he said that. So maybe he was already in cocktail hour Jack at that point. So, it's funny. I do know he was embarrassed. And, Devlin really was covering him well by doing the giggles and like covering up where it's like, it's Ron Burgundy, and like just doing that over and over again. He kind of drew it out longer than he needed to, but also that was just milking the pure entertainment of the flub. And it's masterful, masterful. And like I said, that comment that I put on this thread, Dan, when I said, Matt Devlin said, "I'm trying, folks. I'm trying." So good. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Matt Devlin is a badass. Like, honestly, I love Matt Devlin so much right now. He's made me completely forget about Chuck Swirsky and how much I used to love Chuck Swirsky. Matt Devlin is above him now. Chuck Swirsky was my number one Raptors voice for so many years, and now this year, Matt Devlin has overtaken him. And I just have so much love for those two guys right now. They're just the best. Banana Bread Tan saying at Monique, we can totally shut down Jason Tatum. I'm looking forward to seeing what we do to them. He hated playing against us when we weren't this long. It's going to be worse now. Yeah, and we're going to have the whole band back together, hopefully. I mean, OG being out there just himself for Jason Tatum, he does not like playing. That matchup in the bubble was such a clash. Like in the bubble series against Boston, Tatum versus Anunoby was a real clash. Like we do well against Tatum. Tatum doesn't go off for 40 against us. Tatum always gets around 20 something. He doesn't go crazy against us. He may get 30, but he never has a super huge game against us. And like I said, they may be rolling right now, but let's see how they roll into this rock and roll speaker. Yeah, let's see how they do when they come to Toronto tomorrow on a second night of a back-to-back after playing the Wolves. I don't think they're going to want to run around and chase around and deal with our physicality. Yeah, like I hope it's very similar to the second game of the season against Boston in Boston, where Udoka characterized it as the Raptors punked us tonight. I want to punk them again. Let's show them that we can have these bookends of punking them at both ends of the season. Let's punk them in the second game of the season. Let's punk them again at the end of the season, their last game against the Celtics. Yeah. I want to punk them. I want to punk Udoka once again. So in the press conference afterwards, he said, they came out here and they punched us in the face first and they punked us. Yeah, that's what I want to hear tomorrow night in his press conference. Oh my gosh. Jack moments are the best. Jack moments are the best. Scotty Roy. Yes. Good to see you, Clink. Good morning. Thank you for the plug the other day on your channel, Greg. Much appreciated. I really appreciate your kind words and what you said, man. Thank you, man. Awesome. Let's keep going. G San. All right, yeah, I got to catch up, y'all. I knew it was going to be busy today. Of course, this is a crazy game. G saying, watch them move the goalpost and say, well, Barnes is lucky to be on a good team. Yeah, they're going to make every kind of excuse and every kind of thing. That's part of the reason why I want to get more distance from the Cavs in the record is if we're flipping back and forth with them a little bit too much, they're not going to see us as being that much ahead of the Cavs. We really need to make some distance between us and the play-in right now, even if we have to go through tough teams like Boston and Minnesota, because this will help Scotty. It'll help our playoff race and our seeding. And, this will really help Scotty as far as delineating. We are a better team than Cleveland. We have a better rookie. That is how it should work. And the stats don't lie. The stats don't lie. Dan saying Jubstown has a nice video about Brooks out. Go check it out. Jubstown Clink is putting out great content all the time, sometimes about other content makers like me, and sometimes deep dive, really good insight on different players and stuff like that. So he's got something out there on Armani Brooks. So go check it out. I highly recommend it. I'll put a link to his channel in the comments today so y'all can go check out Jubstown Clink's Raptors channel, YouTube channel. All right, let's see what Clink's saying. The banter between Jack and Matty D during garbage time was amazing. Matty D couldn't handle old man Jack last night. Too funny. It's going in my next video today for sure. Yeah, man. Oh my gosh. Listen, they had those great Canadian heritage moments. Shit like that. Mike Tyson cussing out Nathan Downer on CP24. That's a great Canadian moment. I think that this happened last night was a great Canadian moment. The night the fire started in the speaker. This is like a Gordon Lightfoot song. Like, what the fuck? Gordon Lightfoot write a song about the night the speaker caught fire at the Air Canada Center. Jack Armstrong said, "Drum Jeremy." What the fuck? You can make such a badass Gordon Lightfoot parody song about the night the speaker caught fire in the Air Canada Center. Oh, I love it so much. But yeah, check out Clink's content. Like I said, I'm gonna put his channel in the comments so y'all can come check out another great Raptors channel to follow on YouTube, y'all. Oh yeah. All right. Monique saying, good to finally see Svi shot deep. Hope this means good things. Listen, that's what I was hoping in the preview yesterday, that we'd kick Indiana's ass and get some good garbage time so that these guys could come out and get some confidence. We need confidence. Svi, out of all of them, really needs confidence. And he got a little bit. He hit one of his two threes, which is fantastic. And he did have two bad turnovers, like in the little bit of time he was out there. Listen, we only had 6 turnovers as a team last night, which is absolutely amazing. And 2 of them were by Svi in the garbage time. So I hate that. I hate that out of everybody that he did have some struggles still in the game last night. But it was really nice to see him hit that 3, the second attempt that he had. And then also him going to the line and hitting all 3 of his 3-pointers off of being fouled, shooting a 3. Really good also. We just need him to get more and more confidence in different ways. I wish they had came in earlier and played way more time in the game, but this is the way they managed it and stuff like that. Yuta looked really good. Like Yuta was doing some stuff last night that was fantastic. I love that little play. It was like a triangle pass play where they went and then he was cutting the lane. They found him and he laid it in. That was a great play. And Yuta's just aggressive. You see him bringing the ball up the court and attacking the rim, and then like just not being afraid to take his 3-point shot. He really took his criticism last year. Be more aggressive, Yuta. And it's like his mantra this year. He's the aggressive. Every time you hear Yuta do an interview, he says the word aggressive somewhere in there. It's just part of it. It's like some players on the team have the word winning. They say win. That's all they say. Well, Yuta says aggressive. It's just one of his key words. Clink saying at Dan, thanks, brother. Chatting with all of you here and folks in my comments helped me get my head where it needed to be to make that one. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going to go check that out after I'm done here today and see what Clink's doing with about Armani Brooks. Scott B saying Yuta has turned mean. Look out for him down the stretch. Yeah, he's got a little more of an edge. Like he's like, listen, I love how he challenges people coming to the rim. He has such big balls to be going at. Like after Anthony Edwards posterized him last year, and he's been known as that guy who got posterized, like in that bad thing that happened last year. Everybody like they only knew him as the guy who got posterized by Anthony Edwards. Well, he said 100 times out of 100 times I will jump and challenge them, and he has stuck to that, and he's had way more success with it recently. I love these blocks that he gets clean late in the game when he comes in. When he's done that recently, it's just been fantastic. So, yeah, listen, I know he's fighting for his life in the NBA, and that this year hasn't gone exactly how he wanted it to. But hopefully we don't give up on him still. Like, even if he's just like an 11th or 12th man on our team for years to come, I love that because he brings so many good things around the team as far as his energy, his positivity. He's just a good player to have on your team. And, I hope we make room for him and still allow for him to be around, even if this year wasn't as appealing or good as we hoped in some ways. I think that in some ways his development and things have been good in some ways, So if we had to pick one of those two guys to keep, obviously it's Yuta, because Yuta has shown a lot more promise in different things in some ways. So it's unfortunate for Svi. Like I really had huge high hopes for Svi. I was like, beginning of the season, I was like, Svi is like Nick Nurse's teacher's pet. He's the guy he really likes, and he's like really giving him a lot of opportunities, and he just didn't take them and execute enough to get further opportunities. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. Okay, let's keep going. Clink saying, yep, we got them post Wolves on a back-to-back. Should be good. Hopefully the boys show up inspired. Then we have to face the Wolves ourselves. Big games. Huge games. These two may be the 2 toughest games going out for the rest of the season. And I'm excited. I'm at this point where I'm like the Celtics you're always a little wary of a Celtics game, whether it's because of the referees and what they could do, or just the Celtics are usually a pretty even match for us. And there's a lot of things we got to get against the Celtics. So tomorrow's going to be a fun, hyped up game day. The preview, I'll be ready. I'll come in with my keys to win and the ref report and all the different things I'm doing to prep for the game. I'll have that all done and ready for tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow for the preview for the Boston Celtics game here in Toronto tomorrow. It's going to be a good one. Tom Duke is saying we have a bunch of exciting games ahead this season. Game one of the finals will be on June 2nd, 2022. We the North. I can imagine that. Let's go. Tom, you are like me, baby. This guy wants it all, baby. He's greedy. He's greedy. We want it all. We want to go to the finals. We want to get in there. Yeah, why not? The East is wide open. There's no juggernaut. There's no top dog like Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference that is just absolutely, ooh, this team is going to go to the finals. We know it. No, can you say that about any of the teams in the Eastern Conference right now that they are already like pencil them in? They're in the NBA Finals. That's why I love our chances right now because these is really wide open and it's very even. It's very, very even. It's kind of like deceivingly even that people don't realize this with like the problems that Miami's having right now, winning games, Chicago falling, Milwaukee. We know how we play Milwaukee. Are we worried about Milwaukee? No, we're not. And then Philadelphia, this similar thing to Milwaukee. And then you've got Boston. That may be our biggest arch enemy and toughest opponent. Maybe if we face in the playoffs, obviously we got to exercise some bubble demons if we do play the Boston Celtics in the playoffs in a series this year. It's like we can beat any one of those teams. Cleveland, Brooklyn, I don't give a shit who it is. We can beat them in a best of 7. Any one of those teams, and they can have home court, and we'll still beat them best of 7. I love it. That's why what Tom says is not delusional. That things can work out like they did in 2019. You catch a couple breaks, you have some lucky rolls, you have some teams that have health injuries and different things at different times, and boom, all of a sudden you're in the finals and you're fucking around with trying to get your second Larry O'B. And there ain't no dreaming or out of reality kind of thinking when you think that way, because there is a very real way it can happen. And that's why I love Tom having ultimate optimism and shooting for that, because the more we allow for it in our brains as fans, the more we can allow it to be a reality in the world. And I think it's going to happen. I really do. I have some weird, strange feeling that this team is so special and so together and built with the right principles of defense and rebounding that we will find a way. We will find a way. Oh, yeah. Tom Duke's saying, I bet Papa Flynn is upset about our Armani signing. Yeah, it could be. I'm glad I haven't heard anything from Eric Flynn since that outburst mid-season this year. We need to not hear Eric Flynn's name. He's not playing in the NBA. He is not an important person to the Raptors. He needs to not be somebody that we hear in the news. And so that's good. That's good. He can on the down low be upset about that. But honestly, in a way, Armani is good for Malachi, because it gets him to have to get up off his ass and compete even more to prove that he's better than him. And in my mind, I'm telling you right now, we got these 3-point guards, Fred, Malachi, and Armani. And that is the order I put them in, because we cannot discount, even though Armani is playing really good and he's our nice new shiny toy as a player, doesn't mean he's above Malachi on the depth chart. That Malachi still got his spot. He's just hurt right now. And then when Malachi comes back, he will be that backup point guard because he's earned the time. He hasn't fucked up to lose the job. He's just been hurt. And he has so much time with his team. He really is like more in tune with the rest of the team than Armani, unfortunately, just because he's just been here so short time. So the depth chart is still FVV, Malachi Flynn, and Armani after him. So that's basically how it is. It's just how it is. And now if Flynn comes out and he shits the bed and he misses a bunch of shots and makes a bunch of turnovers, yeah, then maybe Brooks does jump over him. But it's Malachi's to lose, and he still has it as far as I see it, because he just went out on a hamstring. He didn't lose it from bad play in the game, and that's usually how it works. Is OG didn't have to start all over just because he just came back. He got put right in the starting lineup, started shooting right away, doing right away, because that's where he was when he left. So it's where you leave. It's like he's not going to lose his job because of this. So Eric Flynn, I'm glad I don't hear that name, Tom Duke, for sure. Oh yeah. Monique saying Nick Nurse truly trusts in Chris Boucher. I love how in the last day or so, Fred and Nick were saying that he's like 1,000 times better than he was last year. That last year didn't matter. It's like Nick Nurse is so disdainful of the Tampa year. I knew this would happen at some point where we look back at the Tampa year as an aberration. It's just like none of that shit matters. It's like basically how they're all treating it. It's like, yeah, well, yeah, Chris was good last year, but none of that shit matters. Is basically kind of the attitude that's going on right now. And they're right. It is true and to a degree because of how bad it was, the situation, the team makeup at that time, and being in Tampa. Then none of that shit really does matter. And that Chris is way better player this year, mainly two reasons. His defense is extremely better. Last year, he was a door. People go right by him. He didn't do anything to stop anybody. This year, he's stopping people. And then the other thing is his defensive rebounding and offensive rebounding is just way, way better. He's way more aggressive getting on the boards and getting boards like he should have been his whole entire career as a player with his physicality, the way his body. He should have been getting rebounds like this his whole entire career. You should, instead of being like a 6 rebounds per game kind of guy, you should have always been around 9 or 10 his whole career. It's just now he's actually focusing on it and doing it the right way. It's fantastic. He's a great role player. He's an important role player for this team. Sign him, Bobby. Sign him this summer. Don't fuck around with Chris Boucher. Bring him back. And we've seen his next guest on the Hustle Play is going to be Thaddeus Young. So that can be weird because he's one of the newer Raptors. I didn't know that they had much connection already. So it'll be really interesting to see Chris talk to Thaddeus Young in that forum and see how connected they are already just as teammates just in the last month or so. That'll be really interesting. A lot of fun. Duke Rocks, good morning. Good to see your name here again. Celtics on a back-to-back versus Raptors. Hopefully Minnie works them hard tonight. Yeah, have a real battle. Like maybe it's a double overtime game. Maybe it's just like crazy. Like I want to see a lot of energy expend by both teams tomorrow night or tonight. And I want to see the Celtics win. Like I said, my strategy is don't let them come off a loss because they'll be real hungry to get the next game as a win. I really want the Celtics to beat the Wolves tonight because we don't want them coming in off of a loss because they'll be more motivated. We don't want that. Raymond Jacobs saying that, Tom Duke, I think Justin is also upset. Yeah, Justin's upset. But that's fine. We need these guys. It's kind of like if Scotty doesn't get Rookie of the Year, he'll be upset, and that kind of drives you. That gives you a more like locker room fodder. Like, oh, they didn't believe in me. Oh, they didn't give me Rookie of the Year. Oh, they didn't put me on the main roster for playoffs. And Justin, like I said in the stream yesterday, Justin, this is your route. This is the way you got to go. This is your path. You got to go through the 905. You got to get that championship of the 905 this year, and you'll look real good then. So take care of your business on that level and you'll be fine. You'll get taken care of and you'll end up on the main roster and get your time. It's just you're an undrafted player that has gotten and exceeded way expectations and done a lot of great things on the main roster and on our G League team. And this is just part of the process. Just trust the process. Realize that Pascal and Fred and Chris Boucher did the same path and that you're in the right place, in the right time. And this will actually be really good for you. Because listen, you dropped the 45 piece the other night and made them maybe think twice about what decision they made on Saturday by getting Armani for 2 years. But this is all good. This is all gravy. You're going to be fine. Next year, you come into training camp, you battle for that full roster position. You got to keep working. You can't rest on your laurels. You got to keep going. And this is part of it, Justin. I know he's upset, but you know what? If he wasn't upset, I would be like, what's wrong with him? He, every guy that goes down there doesn't want to be down there. They want to be on the main team. If they didn't, then they're not really a guy who's hungry. They're not really a guy who wants something. And that I'm glad that that's the way Justin is. Marlon said when they came back to finish the game, Shaka Khan's song came to mind, Through the Fire. Hilarious, man. Listen, like I if I was an in-game ops person and in charge of the music in the building, I would be playing all kinds of that kind of stuff, like funny, like double entendres or allusions to what's happening in the game or something. I would be on it. And I would be for damn sure looking at the ref biographies every morning and finding out who the favorite bands are of the refs. And I'll be playing that music at the beginning of the game too. Yeah. I'll be playing some Earth, Wind and Fire for Tony Brothers. I'll be playing some Florence and the Machine for Lauren Holtkamp. That's right. We'd be putting it on like that so that we get a little home favor for our team on the referees because we're playing their favorite ditties. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But yeah, I didn't hear that. But that's funny if they did that. They should have. Monique saying PSA announcement Thad on Hustle play soon. Yeah, that's the next guest. Thad. It's going to be interesting. I'm really interested in that. Chris Gum, good morning. You said 12 points last night for the prediction for the score. It ended up being 40, my friend. You needed to double it and then double it again, and then maybe almost even double it again after that. Great, Chriscom. Thank you for your predictions. As always, you're a great part of the Raptor Freak live stream. I look forward to you predicting the score on game days every time. Let's see what he's saying. Let's go, Raptor Freaks. Comfy win yesterday, and right now I'm feeling another double-digit win tomorrow. Okay, so Chriscom's already tuned into his ESPN Ocho, and he's really thinking about it, and he's seeing a double-digit win for the Raptors over the Boston Celtics tomorrow. I love the sound of that music, Chriscom. Yes, I hope you are just as prolific and great as a mentalist as the great Kreskin, the great Chriscom. Yes, you are our mentalist, house mentalist for the Raptor Freak channel right there. All right, let's see. Greg saying at Marlon Toby, haha, did really awesome. That makes sense. That's good. Andrew's making note of my viewers. It's actually gone up since you said that. That's pretty awesome. I appreciate everybody being here, and it's fun. We're having fun. It's like, what a fun game last night. I knew, oh my gosh, you never know what's going to happen. Each NBA game is like a snowflake. It has an individual pattern or thing to it. They're none are the same. And boy, did we get a weird one last night. We get a weird one. And I love Nick Nurse going over his career of weird games in the post-game conference, talking about rain delays in England and all the crazy shit that happens in the NBA. It's just fun. It's sports. This is why they made Sports Center. It's for shit like this. Speakers catching fire in the middle of games. This is why Sports Center exists. And it was hilarious to listen to Matt and Jack have to be like CNN people all of a sudden. There's no game to call. They're completely out of their element. They're completely out of their safety zone. And they're on camera, and they're basically having to be news guys and talk about what's happening in the arena. I thought they did a great job with it, but you could tell they were totally not comfortable doing it. It was like something that they did not expect they'd have to do last night, and it was pretty funny. Banana Bread Tan's here. Yes, Jubstown Clink is here. Shout out one of the best Raptor channels on YouTube. We got the best content creating community. Yes, Banana Bread Tan. Yeah, Greg showed up a couple of days in a row now, and we hope he keeps coming. Just keep coming, Greg. You know, it's always a welcome place for you to come in and just chat with us about silly, crazy Raptor shit like we do here. G saying Lowry got his precious Thad and Brooks. Holy crap. Yeah, G, the way you put it that way. Kyle Lowry, and then we got Precious, Thaddeus Young, and Armani Brooks, and that's the scales that we're seeing there. Man, I'm sorry, Miami. You might have got fleeced. You might have got fleeced, Miami. You might have, be careful what you ask for, Miami. You've been asking for this for 5 years. You really wanted it, and you finally got it. And now, hopefully, it is exactly as you wanted it. Really? Is this what you wanted? Yeah. I love Lowry. I'm not going to diss him. He is a great player. He's going to be a big factor for y'all in the playoffs. He's going to do great things for you. But be careful what you ask for, Miami. That's what I'm going to say, especially when Masai Ujiri has really got big eyes for one of your best prospects. And he really wanted him. I think that this wouldn't have happened if Precious wasn't in the deal, that he was for sure on Masai's end. He's like, I will not trade you Kyle Lowry unless you trade me Precious Achua. And that was a really big factor in it because the pre-existing relationship between Masai Ujiri and Precious Achua is very deep. Very, very deep. And Precious was probably somebody we wanted to draft if we possibly could have the year he came out. And then Miami got him, and we still got him anyway. I love you, Masai Ujiri. You're a genius. Good job. You are doing a great job for us as usual, always. All right, let's see. Tom Duke saying, totally agree, Banana Bread Tan, feeling spoiled. Hey, everybody come on in. Get everybody coming in. Hey, go get those Raptors Digest kids. Go get like some Raptor Republic people. Come on in. Everybody's here. Monique's here. Greg's here. Come on in. Let's talk about Raptors in a real way, in a positive way. Let's get all this cynicism, all the trade talk, all the bullshit. Let's love our guys and be happy with what we got and keep rolling, baby, because we are rolling. We really are rolling. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, Chris comes saying, I haven't heard anyone say this, but what do you think about swapping Banton for Champagny for the stretch run? Ooh, I don't think we can do that, Chris. I mean, it's the nature of their rookie contracts that because Banton is a second round pick, that he is actually ensconced and able to be a full roster player. And that Justin, because he's a two-way like Isaac Bonga, it's the kind of thing where you have to either bring them fully in to be on the playoff roster or not. We can't make that switch. They're not tradable in that way, unfortunately. And it has to do with the natures of their contracts being two-way contract and rookie contract as a second round pick. So it's really that. So it's not possible, unfortunately. I wouldn't do that anyway because I like Banton's look and the different things he can do. He's long and he does different things for us that are important in different ways. So I think I'd much rather the versatility and the things that Banton does instead of Justin. Justin's a great player. But listen, also, I want to say this. Listen, he just went out and got 45 points. He had maybe one other game this whole G League season that was similar to that where he got like a bunch of points. Otherwise, he's been middling. He's been kind of like 7 points and 10, 15 rebounds sometimes. He hasn't excelled at all points and times. It doesn't seem like Justin goes all out sometimes. In fact, even in the time when he was getting more time on the main roster, there was a point where he stopped producing at the level he did right at the beginning of the season. And that's part of what happened is his production has dropped off at different times. And maybe that's something about, well, you know what, Justin? We're going to show you if you really want that brass ring, we're going to put it out a little further and you really got to start trying harder out there. And then boom, all of a sudden 45 points. So that's maybe something that the Raptors as a team see in him that he could be doing better and he's not playing at his full potential. And that they really want to encourage him to by saying, well, you know what? Nothing comes easy on this team and what you want to do. Oh, yeah. All right, let's keep going. Monique saying, thanks, All-Star Break, signed Precious Achua. Thanks, All-Star Break, signed Precious Achua. Thanks, Nick Nurse, signed Precious Achua. Thanks, Masai Ujiri, signed Precious Achua. Precious Achua needs to go buy a bunch of thank you cards and just start writing thank you cards to everybody. Yeah, everybody who's gotten him to this point where he is right now as an NBA player. It's fantastic. I like, thank you, Eric Spoelstra, for trading me. Write them all out, Precious. You have so many people to thank, and thank yourself for having the attitude that you showed when you came into the season. You were saying somebody came to you and they said, what do you see as your ceiling and how you can play this year? And Precious said he had that Les Brown, Pascal Siakam, expansive mind. You can do anything you want attitude. He said, I don't have a ceiling. I don't look at it that way. I don't look at it as there's a potential and I reach it and that's it. It's not how he thinks. There's limitless in his mind on what he can do and what his potential is. And I love that. And that answer, when he made that answer at the beginning of the season, I found it very intriguing for what could happen this season when he said that. And now we understand why. Is because he's never limited himself in his own head, like maybe the coaches in Miami did, like maybe the prognosticators and experts of the NBA, like the announcers get mad at him for shooting threes at the beginning of the season. What's Precious doing? He's shooting threes. Oh my God, he shouldn't do that. They should punish him, put him on the bench like they do to Chris sometimes because he's shooting threes when he shouldn't be. Well, motherfucker, he should be shooting threes and we should be encouraging him. And we see what that is now. You give a little encouragement to somebody who believes in themselves. And then boom, you have Precious Achua after the post All-Star break. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Woo. All right. Banana Bread 10 saying, let Justin get his groove. We developed Fred, Pascal, Norman this way. He's exactly it. It's going to look really good on his resume if the 905 can pull this off. If they can get the championship this year and Justin Champagny can say he's a G League champion, and if he's the one who gets like MVP or something like that, go get that stuff, Justin. You have a whole level that you can be the man on and do this. Lead this team to a G League championship, and everything will fall in its right place in the future. Just trust it. Trust it. We know you can see the template with Pascal Siakam. Just follow that, okay? I'm not saying you're going to become a Pascal Siakam, but you know what? Who knows? Who knows? The sky's the limit. If you have the right attitude and the aptitude and you are working hard in the Raptors organization, you will be rewarded. You just got to stick to it and listen to them and do what they're telling you to do because it's the right way. You're going to get there. I believe in you. Esco Bacruz, he's laughing. And I hope he's laughing because Jack Armstrong said, Ron Jeremy on the broadcast last night. Hilarious. Raymond Jacobs saying, well, hopefully if Fred plays injured, he can still play well and not be a liability. Remember, Pascal played through his shoulder injury and played horrible. Well, it was really, we had to depend on Pascal to score in that bubble series with the Celtics. And it was a bad situation just in general. The thing with Fred is that he is the kind of player that can be super effective and contribute without having to shoot so much and score. So yes, and it's also the kind of thing where we don't need to play him so heavy like we were at the beginning of the year now. We can really limit him. Like I'd like to see Fred split time with Armani and Malachi when he comes back a little more equally. Like we're seeing a great thing from Armani, and plus we don't even need to have any of those little guys out there at some points. Like the assist totals by Scotty and Pascal are amazing post All Star break. In fact, they're up there with guys like Jokic and other bigs that are really good passers. Like they're in the top 5 best non-guard assists guys in the league. Pascal and Scotty right now. It's amazing. Like last night, they had both had 6. No, they had both had 7 assists, and they led our team in assists. Both of them, 7 assists each. And you really saw it in the first half. Like I was saying earlier, Scotty Barnes with his passing is so amazing. Like he's doing maybe too many no look passes. Like he did a little no look pass that was kind of cute and cheeky he was kind of the side top of the 3-point line, and he just threw a no look pass down the baseline or down the sideline to a guy in the corner. I think it was Precious, and he hit a 3, but he wasn't looking when he did it. He just kind of threw it off. It may have been OG. It was either OG or Precious, and they hit the shot. But yeah, he's getting a little cheeky with his no looks, and maybe that might bite him in the ass at some point where he messes up when he shouldn't have been so flashy. But the stuff he's doing, like I really love how he feeds the low post right now. Like if we have Pascal or OG or Thad or somebody, Chris Boucher, down underneath the basket, and there's a little guy on him, he's getting the ball to him in a really like a productive, consistent way through without losing the ball, them losing the ball. Because like a rookie shouldn't be able to make that pass so easily and so consistently. Usually there's going to be like a miscue and the ball's going to go out of bounds, or the defender will get their hand on the ball and knock it away. But he's actually passing it away where the defender can't get to it, and they're getting easy layups. That's really, really a badass skill. And I love seeing that. There's like Scotty's passing is so freaking good right now. Oh my gosh. So we got different guys that can help carry the load for Fred. Fred is useful and important as a leader, and just even being out there, even in short bursts, helping with playmaking and controlling the flow of the game is enough. And then if he has to sit for more time than he did at the beginning of the season, that's fine. We got guys that are capable that can come in and take care of his role also. But he's important. He's very important. Andrew saying Jack Armstrong jacks it, and now his arm is strong. Yeah, that's a pretty easy one to make, and I love it. It's hilarious. And you got the eggplant emoticon there, of course. Clink saying, laugh out loud. Jack likes to jack it. His actual birth certificate says Gary Richard Smith. Jack Armstrong is a clutch porn name. That's a really good factoid, Greg. Thank you. His real name is Gary Richard Smith, but his name is Jack Armstrong. Very interesting. Oh my gosh. Monique's bringing the news once again. Amy Audibert has COVID. That's why she has not been at the games recently and stuff like that. You know, I hope she gets better quick and gets back soon enough. Amy, get better, please. Banana Bread Tan is saying, let Fred rest. I wish we shut him down for the season. Good challenge to the team to grow. Flynn and Armani would get thrown in right into the fire. I think they would do well. Pascal, OG, Barnes, Young can lead. Yeah, I like that. But I don't, because Fred's a competitor. We're not going to shut him down when we have a legitimate chance to make a good playoff run. There's no way we shut him down like that. If we get to the point where, yeah, we're in trouble, it's not looking good, then maybe we shut him down then. But no, we can't do that. We can't do that. He's too important in different ways. And we saw it when he was out for that period of time. We really needed him back. Like as soon as he came back, I think it was the San Antonio game he came back or something, we were a lot better with him in the lineup. When he was out, it was bad, especially when we had him and OG out. That was a really bad time. So I don't agree with trying to shut him down for the season. It's not like we're Indiana and we need to shut down Miles Turner or something like that. We have stuff to play for. So it's important to keep Fred ready for right now. And he wants to. Honestly, if we told him you can't play for the rest of this playoff run because we want you to be healthy and be safe and stuff like that, he would refuse it. He would be like, no, I'm playing. You're not going to fucking stop me from playing. I'll be out there. You know, if I can make it out there, I will be out there. So yeah, it is what it is. Banana Bread 10. We'll see how it goes. Like things will change as to what happens. And it may be that like we're monitoring him, and if it does get to a point where things seem like then we may pull him out then. But I hope not, because I'd like us to just go all the way and have him play all the way right through. And it may be worth it. It may be worth it. And then you get that off season, and hopefully he can recuperate and maybe he has to get a knee surgery to fix the problem, stuff like that. We'll see. Yeah, Dan, that was hilarious. That I'm trying, folks. It's so good. Like the way that they call the game is so loose. Like I've said a couple times this season, I feel like Matt Devlin is eating marijuana brownies or edibles before the game because he is wild. Like he's out there. Like I really love how he's calling Pascal's moves these days with the washing machines, spin cycle stuff. Like just so gold, so gold. He gives us the stuff to say. Like that Scotty Roy stuff was badass last night. Everybody, hopefully in Toronto, is saying Scotty Roy everywhere and stuff like that. I love it. I love it. They really do kind of make the names and the monikers and the things around the Raptor team for all of us to kind of echo and put out there. Scotty Roy and Ron Jeremy, stuff like that. Andrew's saying it's crazy how well the Celtics are playing. They might be the number one seed at this rate. That actually, I was looking at the standings before the live stream this morning, and I was like, you know what? The Celtics is ripe for the picking. And knowing the NBA, they love that storyline that at the end of the season, all these other teams were number one at different times: Miami, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Chicago, and now Boston has risen and will take the Eastern Conference lead at the very end. They would love that narrative, the NBA. Oh my gosh, they're trying to help them to do this. They are. So yeah, we'll see. Clink saying at Chriscom, I don't think we can do that contractually. Yeah, that's kind of what I was just saying earlier about the difference between a two-way contract and a second round rookie contract. Yeah, I'm pretty sure about it. So I'll say I'm pretty 100% sure about that for sure. Kareem, here we go. Here comes the fire, y'all. That's not on the speaker. Kareem Thomas is Rookie of the Year on this live stream because he brings the badass comments every time he comes here. I love Kareem Thomas and his mentality. I'm glad you're here. I hope you're still here watching me right now. Fuck Cleveland Cavaliers. Fuck Chicago Bulls. Bullshitters. Fuck Boston sellouts. Fuck the process procrastinators, 76ers. Milwaukee fuck sucks. Fuck Miami Heat strokes. I need church. Go Canada. Qatar? I don't know. Anyway, 2000. You need to go to church. I don't know, man. You're getting your direction from Masai Ujiri and a classic hit called "Fuck Brooklyn." Yeah, I see what you're doing there. I love what you did there. In fact, I love the list. I love the new nicknames. I love all that. I love that I say the word "fuck" on my live stream. I'm not done by Yahoo. They're not going to censor me. I'm sorry, Chris Boucher, that you can't say "fuck" on your podcast anymore. Maybe you come on the Raptor Freak live stream one morning and we'll say fuck all day on this thing, and no Yahoo censors will come and tell you not to say fuck in your live podcast anymore. Yeah, that's good stuff. All right, Sue's here. Good to see Sue. She's an original. She's been here with me since the very start and the very beginning in September. Good morning, everyone. What a game. We had it right from the start. We were so hot. We started the fire. Yes, we didn't start the fire. The Raptors did with the scorching shooting. We didn't start the fire. Jack Armstrong, Ron Burgundy, Matt Devlin, Ron Jeremy. Doing Billy Joel this morning. What the fuck? All right, Jimmy Pope. I'm rooting for Flynn. He was playing really well prior to his injury. Yeah, I am too, Jimmy. I really am. Listen, I don't root against any of our guys. Some Raptor fans really love to turn on the players and really beat them and kick them down and say they're garbage, get rid of them and stuff like that. I'm never like that. I hate seeing our guys struggle. I want all of them to do well and succeed and get their NBA dreams. And he didn't catch a break when he got hurt because he had it wide open for being starting with Fred out, and it sucks so bad that the hamstring happened right then. after all year and like his dad complaining and all this kind of stuff, I am rooting for him also, Jimmy. I'm firmly with you on that. Clink saying at Sue, morning. Can you imagine none of that start counted and the game got canceled? Oh my God, I would have spanked my kids and not told them why. Oh my gosh, don't do that to your children. That's like getting your dog after it's shit in the living room like 2 hours later and putting it in their face. They didn't realize they left that turd. They have no memory of turning it up in your living room. You got to get them right then. And then they know they did it and that it was wrong. Yeah, you can't do that. No, don't do that. But yeah, that's not fair. And that the NBA doesn't do that. Like our ref crew was weird last night. It was pretty good. We had the old vet, Tommy Washington, Tommy. And then we had Zach Zarba as our crew chief. And then we had Lauren Hultkamp Sterling as the third ref. And they're pretty good refs. And Zach Zarba wouldn't allow that kind of nonsense. It's like we're out here putting work too. You know, on the download, the referees, they never get subbed in and out. They're running the whole game. So in a way, these are super athletes. They put in work running up and down the court and calling the game. They want it to count. They put in the time, the effort. Yeah, they're going to be like, fuck that. This game counts. They would never do that. Oh my gosh, if they try to erase that. If they did do something like that, I would be like, yeah, the NBA is biased against Toronto for sure. They want to erase a hot start like that. Like some people are really worried about that. And that just speaks to how Raptor fans are so looking for the NBA and the next way they're going to try and screw us. That we actually had that worry. They're like, whoa, well, what happens if we don't get to finish this game? Will we win and stuff like everybody was freaking out in different places about that last night. Like, how is this going to all work out? And how could the NBA possibly screw us in this whole thing? It's like, come on, calm down, calm down. They're going to play the game. We're going to beat Indiana still. Don't worry, all this kind of stuff. So, but yeah, you know, there's a lot of funny stuff. You know, you lose a game in Sacramento because Mark Davis is an idiot, and they admit it later that they lost, they made a mistake. And actually, Sacramento's been getting the shaft in a bunch of games since New Year's. They've lost games, and the NBA keeps telling them that, oh, we made the wrong call and we're sorry, but they don't do anything to fix it. They're just like, yeah, we fucked up, but we fucked up like 4 times now, and you're losing games, and well, it's just Sacramento. We don't give a shit. Sorry, you know, it's fucked up. It really is. All right, let's keep going. Jimmy Pope says he thinks Brooks is a 2 guard. Yes, he actually is. He came in as a 2 guard. He's not really a point guard. He's an off guy. And it actually works really well with Pascal and Scotty that we have him out there because he's good to defend the smaller guys on defense, but he may not have the ball handling duties or the distributing duties. It's more about him catching it and shooting it when other guys get doubled down. And yeah, I agree with this. He's a shooting guard. He's not actually a point guard like Malachi and Fred are. They are more point guards than he is. I mean, he could probably play point guard and do point guard kind of stuff. And he did have some assists last night. Armani had 6 assists, so he was right behind the the 2 point forwards, as we put them, Pascal and Scotty. So yeah, let's keep going. Banana Bread Tan says St. Peter's is the Raptors of college basketball. I can see us doing what they are doing in these playoffs. Yeah, it's a great comparison. It really is. And it's like what they were saying last night in the game, Jack. It's like you get hot in the right time, you get on a streak and you're rolling, and it's in the NCAA tournament, stuff like that happens for St. Peter. And that's what can happen in the NBA also. So we need to keep rolling. We need to keep these good vibes, good feelings, and good play together, and we'll be successful. We'll kick ass. Because once again, our ship is really sound and airtight. We don't have holes in the bottom of our hull where we're taking on water because one of our star players wants to fight the coach in the timeout. We don't have that kind of stuff. And that kind of stuff can make your sink your ship later on and that kind of thing. We have really good solidarity and all for one, one for all. We see our Raptors sharing each other's accolades on Instagram every day. You see how many people posted that 45 game that are on the main roster for Justin Champagnie. You see how many of the other Raptors are celebrating. Scotty Barnes holding up that round Rookie of the Month award in the last few days. They are celebrating each other all around. And that is just, it shows what's going on behind the scenes with the team and their chemistry and their togetherness. is so badass. And that'll get us far, is that a team that's all for one for all, and they're not playing in an individual mindset in different ways. Like the Boston Celtics in some ways may still play with individual mindsets, and to a degree, because of the nature of Tatum and Brown and different things like that. So that's what I'm saying. We have a really strong ship that's going to be ready to weather the storm. Problems won't be coming from internally with our team. If things go bad in the playoffs in different ways, they're going to band together and stay together in those things. And other teams, they may turn on each other at certain points in the playoffs. We want to look for that, especially with Miami Heat. Look for that because we've already seen there's dissension in a couple ways. I don't think Udonis Haslem and Jimmy Butler like each other. I'm pretty sure they don't. So it's that kind of stuff. So we get into a good momentum like St. Peter's, and we have that chemistry and camaraderie, stick togetherness in the foxhole in the middle of the fight. We're going to be good. We're going to be kicking ass because other teams are going to falter and they may not be able to be ready. Like some of these teams are young and are not used to the playoff intensity of what they're going to be facing. And we may be a little more ready for that. That's kind of what happened with the Cleveland game the other night, is that they aren't ready for that intensity. Cleveland's a pretender in the playoffs. They're not going to do shit in the playoffs. They won't be able to play at that level with that kind of like skill and energy and everything that has to do with the playoffs. They're going to get punched in the face and they're going to get put out right away. And if they're in the play-in, it may be in one game, or 2 games. So yeah, I really see that. That is all really important in this stretch run and how you're lining yourself up and to be ready and stuff like that. Andrew's saying if we could be the number 1 seed right now. We've had 15 losses within 2 possessions or less. Lots of those were with major injuries. I know, Andrew, there's been games this season we shouldn't have lost, games that were close, games that were fucked up, games that should have been postponed, all kinds of different stuff like that. But it is what it is. And we are where we are because the journey is supposed to be this way. And that every single one of those losses that you're talking about, they were learning experiences and were very important as a part of this process. And that it is just how it is. I would take where we are with our record and what is happening with this team right now out of so many different outcomes that could have happened this year. When you think about it, it could have been a lot worse. We could have been on the losing end of a lot of these close games. In fact, our stats in close games as a team, we close out and win close games overall. We don't lose many close games. We've done really well this year for being a team in development with a lot of new players that don't have a lot of time together. We do a really good job closing out games and game management in very close games against veteran teams. Like if you look at the win over Phoenix, the Denver game, these are games that we should not have won. And that it all balances out. As much as there's games that we shouldn't have lost, like Detroit and Orlando, there's games that we shouldn't have won. And it all kind of balances out. And in a way, I'd actually rather be like us than Chicago, that's lost all the top teams and beat all the bottom teams, where we slouched against the bottom teams, lost to some of them, but we definitely beat all the major teams. Like, I don't think there's a team in this league that we didn't beat that is important. Detroit doesn't count. Detroit doesn't count. I think we've gotten a win over every single important team in the league for the most part. Maybe some of the West Coast teams, they swept us, but beat us in both games, but I don't think so. I think most of them we beat them. I don't know. Did we beat Utah? I think we beat Utah at some point. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Utah's actually gone downhill since they got rid of Joe Ingles. That was a fucked up deal. They fucked up their team, and Utah's a pretender now without Joe Ingles. They're losing way more, and they're not going to do jack shit in the playoffs. Watch. They're not. Let's keep going. Monique saying Nick Nurse continues to outcoach these coaches. Yeah, that wasn't even Rick Carlisle. I guess Rick Carlisle had to leave the team for a little bit. It was that Lloyd guy who was coaching Atlanta last year. Nick Nurse is a badass coach. We've talked about this so much. I honestly think he's the best coach in the NBA right now. And he may not win Coach of the Year. He may be deserving, but you know what? Those accolades will come at different times. He'll get it again before the end of his coaching career for sure. Watch. Clink saying at Monique, are you the same Monique from Facebook groups? If so, thanks for all the great links, laughs. And yeah, that is the same Monique. That is the superfan Monique, community champion of the Raptors, community affiliate of the Raptors organization. She is involved and she is in there with them and doing stuff. You see her in the clips with the Raptor stuff and the inclusivity, the great promo. That promo was so badass, Monique, that you're in with all the players and the different people from around town talking about inclusivity and just being like everybody is all one and stuff like that. That's such a badass promo. Whenever I see it, I smile so big. And I love that you're like right near the end of it and it's just such a big part of it, Monique. You're just a badass, honestly. So much power to you. And also, I want to say something about CP Day on Friday was Cerebral Palsy Awareness Day. Support people in that foundation, the cerebral palsy. I was talking about epilepsy yesterday. Also, check out the different places and foundations where you can help support cerebral palsy foundation, stuff like that too. I don't know where the links and stuff like that, but that was on Friday. It was CP Awareness Day. So, all right, let's keep going. Yeah, Monique's saying, can we take a moment and Thad turning heads? Talk about Thad. Yeah, let's talk about Thad real quick. Thaddeus was 4 for 8 last night, 2 for 2 at the free throw line. He hit 1 out of 2 threes. Didn't have any rebounds, which I thought was really weird. How does Thaddeus not get any rebounds? But he did have a steal, a 2, block, an assist, 11 points, 4 of 8 shooting. Yeah, he was fine. He's really fit in. He's like in there, and I hate seeing him make bad plays, but for the most part, he really fits. He's really good, and he's doing lots of great stuff. And like I said, the leadership stuff, the stuff about like being in the community of the NBA for so long and knowing so many people and having so many connections, stuff. I mean, how much does he know these older refs in the league? Different things like that is really intangibly good for the Raptors. His experience and his knowledge and knowing different teammates from other years on other teams and different things like that. It's just really, really invaluable and something we lacked as a franchise, something that Goran could have possibly given us if he wasn't such a fucking shithead. And, we got it from Thad now instead. It's really good, really good. Andrew saying, I think Matty D was laughing so hard about the Ron Burgundy thing because Drake called him that at the championship parade. Yeah, he did too. That's right. I was vaguely remembering this isn't the first time somebody's made that Ron Burgundy, Ron Jeremy flub. And you're saying it was, yeah, I think it was Drake at the championship parade talking about Ron Jeremy. Oh my gosh. Maybe that's why Jack Armstrong said it that way, because he's just echoing Drake. But yeah, the laughter was so great. It's gold. It's that kind of infectious laughter. When you hear it, you start laughing yourself because you just hear somebody laughing their ass off, and you may not even know why they're laughing. You just hear them laughing so hard. You're like, what's so funny? Oh my gosh, what's so funny? It's like, it was that kind of laughter. And I love it. And it didn't stop for a while. Matt Devlin took a while to get himself back together. And he was trying. He was really trying, folks. He was trying. Paul B., the Raptors on fire. We don't need no water. Let the motherfucker burn. Yes, the roof is on fire. Literally, get the fuck out or the speaker might fall. Raymond Jacob, I think it is censored because, Lexi, I don't see the question you're reading. Oh, wow. Well, you know what that is, Raymond Jacob? That is actually your settings for YouTube. You have a parental control on that filters out cussing. And you might need to just go check your settings and say, yeah, I'm an adult. That's fine. Keep doing that. Because that's probably what that is. Because I can see all the cussing on here. And I think that that's what it is, Raymond, is that you have a parental control that is filtering out the F word for you. And I'm also kind of, if it says GTFO, I'll say get the fuck out. If it's an acronym, I will say that. Paul B saying Ron Jeremy. Yeah, that was funny, man. Honestly, Paul, I know we're doing our dunk ranking at the end of the year where we're going to go over the best Raptor dunks of the whole season. That's going to be some off-season content y'all can look forward to. Is Paul B and my collaborative effort of going down the countdown. I think we need a countdown of Jack Armstrong's greatest moments. And I think Ron Jeremy is right up at the top of the list right now because he has some good ones in the past too. He has some crazy ones. We could go dig deep and find all the crazy Jack Armstrong moments and maybe make a top 10 out of that also. It could be crazy. Banana Bread Tan saying that has been helping our young big men. I look forward to see OG's game improve from his presence as well. It is just more family. That's the great thing. OG and Thad have a prior relationship that's very strong and good. And that was part of the fun of having Thad on the team all of a sudden. It makes OG happy. It's kind of like when Earl Watson came in as an assistant coach. It made Pascal happy. because he was a guy he was working with already outside of the team before he was officially on our coaching staff. And now Earl's in with us. It makes it happy. That's what you want to do. This is the reason why Giannis has his brother on the Bucks with him. This is the reason why the Wisconsin Herd wore Greek Independence Day jerseys against the 905 on Friday night. You want to please some of your franchise players. So one of the ways you do that is you bring in the people they want to be around them. You don't do it like LeBron, say, demand, I want this person, I want this person. You do it nicely for them to show that you want them around. And that to me showed that they really want to invest in OG being around still and being happy. Bringing in Thad Young, a mentor to OG as a young player for many years already. So it's really smart stuff. And that's part of the reason why I was even saying, like yesterday, we should get AJ from Duke. We need to get Adrian Griffin Jr. and on our team when he comes to the NBA. If we can get him to the Raptors somehow, some way, and we have a father-son connection, kind of like Austin and Doc Rivers and their whole thing a couple of years ago where they were on the same team, that'd be really cool. It'd be an interesting kind of synergy on the team to have that father-son connection in the team. It'd be really cool. All right, let's keep. I'm sure they'd love it. I mean, I'm sure AJ would love to come and play for the Raptors and Nick Nurse and his dad. Oh yeah, I'll bet he would love it. All right, let's keep going. Pascal, all NBA Siakam. Yes, Matt Devlin is doing it for us. Monique, he's putting it out there in the world of the NBA. They will hear those highlights on NBA TV and they hear Matt Devlin call out Pascal, all NBA Siakam. He's making the case to get this man that accolade, and he does deserve it. This man was not an all-star this year. At least give him the all NBA this year, NBA, because you need to recognize the force that Pascal Siakam is developing into as a player in this league, that he is one of the most dominant players in the NBA right now. You need to wake up and open your eyes to this and reward the man for it. And Matt Devlin's putting it on you by putting it there in his call of the game. Pascal, all NBA Siakam, Scotty, Roy, Barnes. These are what you are all going to have to hear and see in these highlights when you get them in the States. When you hear the Toronto announcers say that, you need to think about that, voters. You need to think about that Rookie of the Year going to Scotty Barnes. You need to think about putting Pascal Siakam on the all NBA team, because these men are deserving of these accolades, and our announcers putting it in your ear to hear. And that is what we need him to do. That is a good announcer doing that to help them. And I love it. I love it. Chris O'Brien, good to see a new name in here. We're here every morning live at some point between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. I'll pop up and do a live stream on YouTube, and we'll talk about the daily Raptor stuff today, reacting to a crazy, wild rock and roll fire. Yeah. And let's see what you're saying, Chris. I'm looking forward to see how we play against Boston coming up. Yeah, me too. Like, it's always a great challenge. Obviously, we have some get back on them. Fred, Pascal, OG, and Chris, these guys were in that bubble series. They remember this shit. They remember how close that 7-game series was. And we always have some get back for the Boston Celtics. And it's on like Donkey Kong tomorrow night. I hope that Minnesota runs them ragged and makes them all crazy for tonight. It's for tomorrow night, because it's going to be a really big game tomorrow. And I hope our crowd comes correct like we did on Thursday. In fact, I'm real tempted once again to try and get a flyer on a ticket and get in the building myself, because I really do feel like I like controlling things a little bit by being there and being as loud as I can, so that I know I did it all out there as I could. If I can be that spark to light that defensive chant fire in the first quarter right after the tip, I will do that, because we need to be relentless. We cannot stop. Every single time somebody in a green jersey is holding the ball or touching the ball, or they have possession of the ball, that defensive chat needs to be deafening, because it really worked on Thursday against Cleveland. We helped them a lot with them being really energetic on the defensive end and stymieing Cleveland from getting anything going in that game. And it was a huge part of helping them win. And I seen it myself. I was there, I helped, and I did it. And I don't want to have to go down there again tomorrow night and do it again. But I might feel like guilty if they don't do well and I didn't go to the game. That's part of the problem right now, is I'm in a catch-22. It's like, I need to fucking go down there and do my part to help. But also, I'm like, I'm not made of money. So please, crowd, if you're going to the game tomorrow night, take my place. Do a good job and really, really say that defense chant every single time Boston has the ball. Because we proved on Thursday night against Cleveland that it works, that we can get more out of our team on the defensive end if we're behind them with our voices. So really get there and do it right. We can't do it like last night because last night it didn't matter. It's Indiana. We're going to rout them anyway. But tomorrow night it matters. So y'all need to come in there and do it right away. Let's take this very seriously. Our team's coming to the game with a lunch pail and a briefcase, and it's all business. We need to be the same way in the crowd. These motherfuckers who come down there just to be seen, just to be like, oh, I'm at the Raptor game and I'm on Instagram. Look at me, or I'm down here seeing my friends. Oh, I got to do some business, or I'm just here to sip beers and eat pizza. Fuck you. We need the real ones down there, the ones that are going to get loud, the ones that are going to be engaged in the game, and they're going to be making noise to really help push our guys with their effort and their energy, because that's what we lacked all season. We need to come in like a wrecking ball and come in with that energy now, because we weren't even allowed in the building. We need to make up for it 10 times now, especially in a huge game against the Boston Celtics. And I don't want to have to go down there myself and do it. Please, y'all, whoever's going to the game tomorrow, do it yourself and make it like, if there's one person listening to me right now that has tickets in their hand, they're going to the game tomorrow night, be me on that court tomorrow and just yell defense every single time the Boston Celtics are in possession of the ball. Just do it. Just do it relentlessly. And people can look at you like you're fucking crazy all around you, but do it, because it will pay off and we will hopefully get that victory. And you can say you had a part in it as a sixth man in the crowd and getting that crowd going, because it is really important. It really helped against Cleveland on Thursday, and we need it again tomorrow night. For sure. All right, let's keep going. It's going to be a great game, Chris. I'm excited about it too. Sue's saying at Greg, haha, oh my God, I hear you. I was peeking that we may not get to finish the game. Yeah, there was a lot of uncertainty. Obviously, people are leaving the arena. Where are we going to play the game? They did it really well. I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it just got over and done with, and it's in the books. No reschedule, no other date. None of that kind of stuff. Is really good. Let's keep going. Greg's saying at Monique, was away from keyboard. Cool that you're the same person. That had gone from sleeping on the court, knucklehead turnovers to engaged, inspired over the last few games. Yeah, Greg. He's been hot and cold to me, like as far as I feel about him. It seemed like every other game, I'd either see him miss free throws and make bad turnovers, or then he's like fantastic. He's doing everything. He looks like another OG out there or something like, or he's doing different things like that. So yeah, it has been different with him. And maybe that's just part of his learning curve of being in the team and getting to know it. There's so much they have to learn so quickly. He kept talking about how you learn all 5 positions playing in the defensive scheme that Nick Nurse is running, because they're all interchangeable. So he has to learn like 5 defensive schemes instead of just one, and what he would be doing. So, he has had his bad moments where he's looked really bad on the court. He's pissed me off. Like plays where it's like, you're a 12-year vet and you shouldn't be making like bad turnovers like that. Like, you don't pass the ball to Pascal Siakam when Thibault is right there to get his hand in there and steal the ball as soon as you pass it to him. You need to be able to read the court well enough and see the defender right there that you're setting up your teammate to lose the ball immediately, because the guy's right there to pounce on him. So it's just stuff like that. It's just little fundamental stuff that I'm like, you're a pro, you're a vet, you've been in the league for so long. Why the fuck are you making this mistake, Thad? This is bad. Maybe that's why Pop wasn't playing you, is what I was thinking at times, stuff like that. Okay, Monique saying I'm not engaged. Oh, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Okay. Yeah, I think he's talking about engaged in the game, not literally like you're engaged in life, like to get married or something. I don't know. Race Mode Daily, good to see you as usual. Good day, freaks. Which teams would you want to beat in the playoffs to win the championship this year? Bulls, Heat, Warriors? I want to beat the Milwaukee Bucks specifically because they won the championship last year. And honestly, if we had been in the playoffs last year and been regular Raptors in Toronto and everything like normal year, we would have fucking stopped them before they won their championship last year. And the Bucks fan has been so arrogant and fucked up in some ways this season. I want to show them that they never really truly were the top Eastern team, that they did not really win that from us last year, and that we need to put them out this year in the playoffs. So specifically, I'd love to beat the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm okay with beating down any of our East Atlantic Division opponents as far as Boston and Philadelphia. Oh yeah, I want to get some get back against the Celtics in the playoffs. If we face the Celtics, and if we end up against them in the Eastern Conference Finals, that'd be a badass Eastern Conference Finals, and I would hope that we could get them this time. because we have some get back for them. And then Philadelphia, it's fun to play them because I like the challenge of Embiid and Harden. And I think we match up so well against them that we can crush their dreams once again. That it'd be real fun to play the Sixers and crush their dreams. Not to see Joel Embiid cry again, but just to have Philadelphia fan realize that it's hopeless for them. It just is. I know that Joel Embiid has been the answer and like the process and all this crap, and he is a great player. But you're also going to find in this day and age that a player like him hurts you also. And he hurts you in a way where Precious Achua can go right around and do whatever he wants because that's the guy that he has to guard. And then you have to take Embiid out for stretches of the game anyway because the other team's playing smaller and he's a liability in some ways. And that's what happens. We make those big guys like Jokic and Embiid a liability because of our smaller, more flexible, positionless scheme with lots of length. It's very intriguing and interesting. And the repercussions of this for Doc Rivers are you may need to figure out a different kind of team and strategy against a team like the Raptors because you're not going to be able to beat us and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want those teams specifically, and I won't speculate about the finals. That's the whole thing. You get through the East and you get through that gauntlet. It's whoever is on the West. At that point, you should be playing really well, and you just take on that Western team like we did the Warriors, and you go in how you can. So yeah, that's where I'm looking at it, like right there, race mode. All right, let's see. Most saying thanks, Lex, for bringing it up. Wear green every March for cerebral palsy awareness. And yeah, I'm sure it sucks. I mean, I've known many people, different people in different times in my life that have dealt with CP in their lives. Once again, my girlfriend deals with CP herself also with epilepsy. And also, I had a neighbor that lived across the street where I grew up in Tallahassee that had CP. And he was basically like my second dad. He was the one who drove me to school and he taught me a lot of my values and helped raise me in the neighborhood as just my friend's dad and stuff like that. So I learned about CP at a very young age and about, how it doesn't necessarily have to limit you because I'll tell you, Mr. Harder is a really inspiring guy. He does everything that everybody else does with a very, very severe case of CP. And he's a badass. He's a badass. I love you, Mr. H. Yeah, anyway, let's keep going. Paul B said, sounds good. Shoot me some links. I can compile them. Yeah, we'll figure this out. I think it may just take like a YouTube search of Jack Armstrong or just put in Jack Armstrong. And maybe we can find some crazy ass shit that he said back in the day. Monique saying, thanks for the promo shout out. Many have seen it and messages after the game. Yeah, Monique, man, I hope that you continue to work with the Raptors more and more. And just you get more and more spotlight with them because you're fantastic. Anything you've done with them, whether it's just the little clips, that thing they did with you with the getting the jersey and having the press conference was a fantastic little clip also. And I love all the stuff that you've done with interviews with other experts and different things. I've been paying attention to your work for years now. Actually, I've been very aware of you, Monique. For at least 5 or 6 years and just following your stuff online for many, many years. And I'm just glad now you're here with me in this channel and we're interacting more this way also. Because I know we've always kind of talked in the Facebook comments and on your extra mentions after the game and different posts that you make and stuff like that. But I like this way too, because in some ways you're getting to see me and hear my voice and get my personality. And, it's going to be really fun next Sunday for the Miami Heat game. I hope that the Wheel-Trans doesn't mess around with you and you get there all right. And we'll come see you. We'll get a picture taken, you and I, and we'll celebrate the Raptor love in the Raptor building, in the right place where we're supposed to be, where we weren't last year and we weren't for a part of this year either. And this is real important. Oh my gosh. Click to Am saying, if we beat the Celtics and T-Wolves, the Eastern Conference is in trouble. Yeah, they're on notice. Click to Am's also saying Scotiabank employees are probably making sure all the speakers are good for tomorrow. They probably doing some maintenance stuff in the whole arena. Can't let that happen again. Yeah, that's really dangerous. I'm thinking they're going to have to take that speaker down, maybe really give it a good look over. And maybe we just don't have as much pop with our sound system for at least a couple of games or something like that. Who knows? Maybe they can turn it around fast. I don't know. Are the Leafs playing in the building today? Because that may be a big part of it. Is there something else in the building today that may take time away from them being able to do the maintenance and fix all this stuff? Maybe hopefully it's an off day and they can get a big crane in there, because that's kind of one of the things that can really help them. Instead of rappelling down, if they can get an apparatus that can actually shoot them up there and get it done that way. But it may be that they have to let the whole thing down, like lower it down and take it somewhere else and look at it. And maybe they have another one that they can replace it with right away and bring it right back up. And the other thing I've heard is it wasn't just one speaker. There was a speaker on the other side of the arena that also caught fire at the same time, but it went out like right away. But yeah, so there's two speakers they're going to actually probably have to take down and work on and figure out what's going on. So yeah, they can't let this happen again. And thank God nothing awful happened, like no tragedy or disaster or anything like that. You don't want that kind of stuff to happen in your home of building where your favorite team plays. Greg's saying at race mode, I've been praying for Embiid for months equals playoff footage of him sweating and huffing and puffing against us. He won't last 7 games against us playing 30 plus minutes. No, he won't. He won't. The energy that other teams have to expend playing us is part of the reason why they don't want to play us. They know that if they come and they have to play us, they have to work hard. They have to try and match how we work. And that's the beauty of it all. That's the beauty of it all. And yeah, Embiid will not do well against us in a playoff series. He may do well against most other teams, but not against the Raptors. We have a kryptonite. Marc Gasol has left us some sort of playbook, and we know how to play him pretty good. Paul B saying our defense was incredible versus Cleveland. Thanks for doing your part. Oh, thanks, Paul. No, seriously, it was that day. I was like, man, I have this opportunity. Somebody posted that they had these really great seats for a good price. And I was like, man, I will feel so guilty if I had the opportunity to go down there and try and help, and I didn't do it, and they lost. I wanted to take control of the situation, and that's why I went. And in some ways, I'm feeling like that about tomorrow night, but in some ways, I'm also kind of like, let's let it ride. And hopefully some other fans can do what I try to do when I'm there in my place in some other ways. And, I'm not that special or anything, but I am really seriously bringing a loud defense chant right away at the beginning of the game. And not everybody's willing to do that, or not everybody has enough attention span to really watch the game intimately to the point where you're really watching who has the ball at every time and how it switches and turning on and off your defense chant that way. Because I'm not just willy-nilly yelling defense the whole game. And I don't cheer or chant when they have the ball. I don't do anything when they're on offense. I may say, let's go Raptors once in a while. But for the most part, I save everything in my voice for when the other team has the ball and defensive chance. I don't cheer when they have the loud meter. I don't cheer when somebody's trying to get a t-shirt. Oh, t-shirt. I don't do anything then. I'm stone silent. It's just when the other team has the ball is when you'll hear me in that arena. And Stevie Root swears he heard me. He knows what I sound like right from the bat through the telecast when he's watching. You say, you're right after tip off. I heard you, Lex, go on defense. I heard one voice, and I think it was you. So Steve says he swears he heard me through the TV. So Clink's saying at race mode, every tool at our disposal has trained to play 40 marathon men. We're giving them Embiid every rim on every first quarter trip. He'll earn every bucket and have to run back to defend. Gas. We won't let him do anything down low. That's the one thing we did really well against Philly the last time we played him is we said, let him shoot outside. Let him shoot these crazy threes. Let him shoot from outside. That's fine. But don't let him have any good position or get too close to the basket because he doesn't make shots as well if you put him out 10 feet away from the basket. It is really much better spinning and doing Pascal kind of stuff towards the basket. If you limit him and you don't allow him to do that, then he has a harder time scoring. And we did such a good job on him and James Harden the last time we played him. We play them one more time. We get another chance to show exactly what Greg's talking about right here, how we can tire out Embiid and that we are a really good matchup for us to beat them. I feel real good if we play Sixers. Oh, yeah. Paul B saying, I'm all for Embiid crying. No mercy. This is a guy flying an airplane on court like a child. Yeah, I mean, the reason why is I just feel bad for him. You saw how young he was really inside. He's so huge and big, and he looks like an old man, but he's really a young person. And that you saw that youth in him in that moment when he was crying when we put him out in the Eastern Conference semifinals 2019. And I don't like seeing that. I like him. I like him in some ways. I have a lot more respect for Joel Embiid than a lot of superstars in this league because he is trying to do things right and he is a good person. And he's had to deal with a lot of extra bullshit being in Philadelphia. Just the dysfunction of the Philadelphia team, people like Ben Simmons, just all that kind of bullshit he's had to deal with. They've traded away a lot of his good teammates around him. Like Jimmy Butler, getting rid of him was a real big mistake. And so was JJ Redick. Like they really screwed up when they let go of those guys after when we played them. They were the two best players for them in some ways. So I feel bad for Joel just because he plays for Philly and he's got to deal with their dysfunction and their idiocy in different ways. So yeah, I don't like seeing guys cry like that. It's sad. Sue saying, yeah, she's okay with him crying too. You know what? That's fine. You guys, we don't have to agree on everything. I like him. I don't want to see him cry. I feel it's sad for him. Greg saying same. In fact, my memory of him in 2019 bawling after flying is a happy place for me to close my eyes and picture on a day. Yeah, he got a little cocky. He shouldn't have done the airplane thing. And now it's really come back to haunt him. It really has. Like Paul B said, they use that against him in the games. When he plays in Toronto and where our fans see him, they're doing this to him in the crowd. And it's hilarious. It's hilarious. They should be trolling him for that. But also you can see the other side of the coin and feel some sensitivity for him because he was just like a big kid when we saw him. And it was like really embarrassing. Like, in some ways, it's kind of good for humanity for us to see a big, huge 7'2" man bawling like a child. That, that my toxic masculinity and different things in this world about how men don't cry and men and all this kind of bullshit. We need to get past all this because this is part of the reason why society's so fucked up. Because we push down all our real feelings as men, and so we have to be macho and boys don't cry and all this kind of stuff. And we do fucked up shit because we don't work through our issues. So, things like that are good for the world to see somebody a huge man like him crying like that. And to me, those are kind of things that are important because men are sensitive too. And we're allowed to have feelings and stuff like that. We need to break these stigmas of these kind of things with gender roles and stupid shit like that. And that was part of that with that whole thing with it too. So it was kind of brave in a way that they saw him crying like that. All right, let's keep going. Paul's saying, hell yeah, Sue, I want to see all the superstars cry this postseason. I want to see them cry and whine and bang the ball in the court or throw it at our rookie or just like be like looking upset. Like that's what we love to see. Luka Doncic getting frustrated. Jason Tatum being so pissed off because he can't do jack shit. That's what we want to see. We want to see them frustrated because our defense is so good. They can't get nothing. Maybe we're fouling them a little bit and we're getting away with it and they hate it. All kinds of that kind of stuff. That's when I love to see other players get upset. Oh yeah, from the way we play them. Monique saying, I want to see DeMar DeRozan take it, if not anyone. Yeah, if it's not going to be the Raptors, we'd love to see Chicago, but really the writing's on the wall for Chicago right now. They're having everything go bad for them in some ways right now in a bad time. And I feel bad for DeMar because I really do want him to get a championship at some point in his career. And it looks like Chicago is looking like his best chance right now, other than the earlier times with Toronto. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens, how things shake out. Paul B saying Raptor Nation is a crazy YouTube channel. Feels like they have a dunk compilation before us. Who cares? I don't care what other people are doing. We can duplicate what they're doing and different things like that. That's fine. We'll do it our own way. Paul, we have our own style here, the Raptor Freak channel. We'll do it our own way, even if they do it and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not even sure who Raptor Nation is. Is it that one with it's kind of like a peach color and it has an RR or something like that? That's good content, actually. I really enjoy that one guy. Or maybe that's Raptor Reaction or something. I'm not sure. There's so many. It's hard to figure them out. That's why I was like, I had to put the freak in it because I'm like, that's the epitome of who I am. My first ever email address in the 90s when they had America Online, the internet got invented, was raptorfreak@AOL.com. So I've used this nickname since like 96, 95. Yeah, first season. I was the Raptor Freak then. I know that sounds crazy. I really was a freak then because nobody else was. Let's see. Paul B, the arena should just pump that defense beat from tip off. I don't think they can do that. I think they can they can hit the beat. And they do. Like if they hear somebody like me starting it right away, they're like, oh, we're sleeping. We hear them doing it. We need to follow them. Then the organist will start playing it. But sometimes they'll just go with the flow of the game. And if nobody's doing it, they'll just like let it be like quiet and just think. So it's on us to start it and they'll hear us. If they hear somebody doing it, they'll be like, dun, 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 dun. they'll start playing it. It's because I've noticed that because I've tried to manipulate that. And so when I'm sitting up in the 300s near where the organ person is, he can specifically hear me start. He'll start lining up with me right away. And one of the things I do is I'll do it like important place to start the defense chant that we don't always do is on the inbounds play. When the team we're playing has the ball near their basket and they're inbounding it, you got to start the defense chant before they inbound it because sometimes you get that defense chant started too late and they've already made a quick basket off the inbounds play. So it's really important if you see this is a little technicality that I do to help. If you see it on an inbounds play and the ball's not in, start that defense chant before they inbound it. Because sometimes the most important play, a part of that play of the inbounds is that initial inbounds pass. So you need to get the defense chant going before they even bring it in. So yeah, stuff like that. All right, here we go. Tom Duke has got his emoticon parade for today. It looks like we've got a movie camera, a Polaroid camera, a video camera, an eggplant, 3 cherries, which I don't know if that eggplant with 3 cherries is indicating a certain kind of porno. I don't know there, Tom. A purple shirt, a lady's sandal, a boot, some lady doing tumbling, and a weightlifter. Ron Jeremy, positionless basketball. Let's go. That's what he's calling that. That's beautiful, Tom. Honestly, once again, if we could NFT this or make this something like it can be made money, because everything online, like electronically, can do that, I would pay maybe to have this hang on my wall. That this is your emoticon art, and you're an emerging young artist in a great new field of art, the emoticon world of art. I love it. I love it. It's great. Dan's here still. He's saying, feel the feels. No shame in that. I'm crying right now, and that's just because I'm hungry. Hey, yeah, listen. Oh, man. I want you to get there to that food, Dan. I'm rooting for you. We're here for you, Dan. Get there. Get hungry and get that food. Oh, yeah. But yeah, no, seriously, I love this. I love this. Dan is a professional comedian. He's a stand-up. He's a badass. He's a writer. He also writes great comedy and stuff like that. If you ever see Dan Gallia's name anywhere, go check it out. If it's whether it's at a comedy bar, whether it's anywhere around Toronto, go check it out. You are gonna laugh. You're gonna have a good time. Trust me. Trust me. All right. Paul B is saying Kyle Lowry crying for choosing money over family. Just kidding. No, Kyle's awesome. I hate that we still don't know what that personal reason was for him being out for so long this season. Hopefully it was nothing to do with his family and that there wasn't any sad moments for him and stuff like that, whether it's his mother or his boys or anything like that. But yeah, very interesting situation with Kyle. His year's been very weird, I'm sure. It's been a very weird first year in Miami for him, I'm sure. Raymond Jacobs saying DeMar can't win it because Raptors taking it all the way, baby. Oh yeah, Raymond. Hey, I'm all right with this. I'm all right. One of these 2 teams, I want them to win, either Toronto or Chicago. One of these 2 teams. Paul B saying that's Raptors Republic. Yeah, I used to love Raptors Republic. Like 5 years ago, they were really rolling. They had Samson Folk and a lot of different people doing things. I know he's still there, but they had certain people doing the Raptor reaction, like report card, that were really fantastic. They had good insight. They're doing stuff but now the people that do them are awful. Like they don't really give you anything. It's like, are you really watching the game? And sometimes their grades are like mystifying. I'm like, why did you give this person a D? That you do not obviously understand basketball and that you don't have to score a lot of points to have a good game. Maybe Chris Boucher had a really good game, but he got 6 points and 8 rebounds, and you just didn't see the intangibles he's doing. And so it's just all the reliability in Raptors Republic report cards just went out the window at a certain point. And I was just like, fuck this shit. Why am I wasting my time hunting this down and trying to look at this anymore? And I did really like when William Liu was working for them way before he hit the big time, and he was doing the reaction podcasts after the games. He was fantastic. That was really what got him his notice and got him to Sportsnet and what he's doing now. And he deserves it. Like, he's a badass, and he's the kind of guy that makes me like, not that I have any aspirations to go mainstream or be like him or anything like that, but it makes me feel good that people that make content like he did and I do now do get that path and opportunity to actually get mainstream real jobs. And that's badass. I love that, because really Will Liu, it's not like Eric Smith. He's not like Josh Lewinberg. He's a guy who came up organically this way, like I am, or like people that just write about the Raptors for fun because they're a huge fan and they want to produce content, stuff like that. Good for you, Will Lou. I love that guy so much. Those two, they're so badass in their show. It's so good. But yeah, Raptors Republic has its good and bad. There's a couple of podcasts on the Raptors Republic that the best thing about Raptors Republic right now is Talking Raptors with Barry Taylor and Nick Reynolds. Those two are fucking hilarious. They're the best. Like, honestly, I have so much fun listening to them. And then also, like, they have some new stuff that's going on there with Catherine Naker that is really going to be awesome and awesome too. I'm glad to see that she's on their team now, also with her Buckets and Tea podcast and different things that she's doing. So there's hit and miss with Raptors Republic. Some of the stuff that Zarar does, I'm just like, what the fuck? Go cover like soccer and stop covering basketball, because when you do the breakdown play-by-play things, like what the players should have done in this situation, that's what it could have, should have. And you're not a pro basketball player. You do not understand how it is in the moment and split-second decision making. And it's real easy for you to paint how the play should have went the day after as a armchair quarterback. And you don't really have any basis. And plus, the vernacular and the terminology that you're using half the time just shows how much you don't know what you're fucking talking about. Because some of the words you use are soccer terms. And I'm like, what the fuck is this motherfucker doing, Arsenalist? Just don't cover the Raptors so intently. You could run the whole channel and do the things that you do for Raptor Republic, because I know you work real hard and you keep that thing going. But in some places, you're overstepping and you're kind of hurting the credibility of your own boat also. So that's my whole deal on Raptors Republic. You said that's Raptors Republic, and I just said that's Raptors Republic in my eyes, at least. I think it's very good, and I think it's been really good that it's been around for a long time. But it could be improved. Y'all had a heyday a couple of years ago that was just badass, but you're letting in a lot of young kids that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And I really get turned off listening to these youngsters that really don't have a history of the game, that really don't understand basketball and the X's and O's and coaching and the reality of basketball, and they're just talking out of their ass by observing and thinking that they know what they're talking about. You don't fucking know what you're talking about. And I can tell right away, there's certain names, I'm not even going to say them, that are associated with that channel in Raptors Republic right now that I'm just like, they turn me off. I can't look at their content in general anymore just because of these people. So there it is in a nutshell. All right, let's see. Clink's saying, I agree about men crying, but Embiid in 2019 was different. He was an entitled kid lacking class and sportsmanship when he chose to fly around the court when he should have been getting back on D. Bad swagger. You know what? I can agree with this, Greg. And you know what? You're right. It may have been a growing moment for him. It may be that like he had to learn that you can't get arrogant and you can't be like that. And then you will get the sting of defeat. And then he felt it, and it was so public. So maybe it was a growing pain kind of thing. So yeah, maybe he did deserve all that and stuff like that at that time. But also in the same time, you got to feel sorry for someone that broke down and felt so bad like that. But you know what? I'll agree with this statement that he did deserve it in some ways to go through that feeling, and that it was part of his maturity process probably as a player. He probably doesn't act like that anymore. Like, I'll bet you he doesn't do no airplanes no more, nowhere, or any kind of that kind of stuff. He's very professional and he keeps it like he doesn't want to have that kind of stuff anymore. He learned a lesson for sure. We humbled him. Yeah. Raymond Jacobs put it right there. Anselm saying, I like your comments on Doug Smith. You don't cut down the old wise oak tree. I really believe this. Like, this guy has been around. He has, like you said, the oak tree, Anselm. He has rings of experience from different periods of the Raptors career and franchise. And like, he understands from day one, like, these guys are important. Paul Jones, Leo Routens, Doug Smith. They're important because they have the perspective. They've been there from the beginning, and they may be out of touch. They may be outdated, and they do need to be called out if they do stupid shit like what Doug Smith did this weekend. But also, there is some importance in that journalist that's been journaling it all along, and that he is like a steady part of it. And this is a job that you don't age out of. You can write sports writing till you're like fucking 90 and stuff like that. So Doug Smith's going to stick around. Hopefully, I mean, if he loses his job over this, then that's just a sign of this world and what we're in now, that people can lose their job for crazy shit at this point. But I don't agree with it. I do agree that he needs a slap on the arm, and maybe like, don't be like fucking egotistical with your reaction to it. But yeah, and be more responsible. You're not a comedian. You're not like Dan. You're not a comedian. So fucking stick to writing about sports, Michael Grange too, and stop fucking wisecracking in the press conferences. Stop writing stupid ass tweets when you don't need to. Like that tweet was factual, and it's just you reacted to it badly when people were saying, "Is this a joke?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's a joke." No, it wasn't a fucking joke. Armani Brooks deserved the 2-year contract and he got it. And it's just that people couldn't suspend their belief that, oh my gosh, we got him for 2 years. That's crazy. He's a 10-day. They didn't believe it because it didn't seem right, but it is right. Anybody who understands the NBA and what had been happening with Armani Brooks would say, well, that could be very factual, what Doug Smith said. It's just he was a little preemptive, a little too early, and he didn't handle it right when people came to ask him if it was accurate. So yeah, it's stupid. It's a dumb move. He should have really stepped in it. Let's keep going. Raymond Jacobs saying, or wait, I skipped a little bit here. Monique saying, why do you think Adrian Griffin hasn't got a job yet? Thoughts? Well, I think he will at some point, maybe. I mean, listen, there's something that's going to happen. It's already kind of been happening, and it's amazing. And this is another parallel to Coach Pop and Coach Nurse. There's going to be a Coach Nurse coaching tree. Like Pop has all this coaching tree. There's a whole bunch of coaches now in the league that are really branched off from his coaching. And Nick Nurse is getting that already. We saw it with Chris Finch, kind of, as you could say that. You know, Nate Bjorkgren going to Indiana last year. The opportunities are going to come because they see these guys. And Earl Watson's getting groomed for this. He's going to be coming off the Nick Nurse coaching tree, and he'll be taking over a team. We'll see where he ends up. But people are going to want Earl Watson. And they may want Adrian Griffin at some point. It may be a couple of different things. It's just that, like, he really likes being with Nick. They've really bonded, and he's his right-hand man. It's like if Nick gets thrown from the game, Adrian's our coach. And, you know, the opportunities come and go. We'll see what happens. I think, like, from that open gym this weekend, we see Adrian Griffin's very grateful and thankful to be here in Toronto and have his path come to this point. So I don't know if he has aspirations to leave and have his own team. It could be also that, you know, it's a whole other level, like Nate found out, that you don't maybe want it, that maybe being a good assistant coach for a long time is enough. And so we'll see. We'll see. He's not somebody, he was for a while, he was getting put into the conversations for coaching vacancies, but he hasn't really lately. There's other guys on our squad like Earl Watson. They're probably much more attractive for other teams to possibly come get. But who knows? Maybe it could happen for Adrian Griffin. Who knows? But yeah, that's an interesting question for sure, Monique. Monique saying coaching job. Yeah, Adrian Griffin. Yeah, I understood it. Raymond saying, I think Adrian Griffin hasn't been hired yet because no one wants to lose a staring contest. Oh my gosh, Raymond. Oh my gosh. You're pulling the jokes. He does have that wide eye stare, like, you know, but man, he's awesome. Like, honestly, I'm really glad they did that episode on him this weekend. You know, his reputation really took a hit because of his ex-wife and the bullshit she was saying last year and stuff like that, or 2 years ago or something and stuff like that. Dan, you're welcome anytime. You know, you come in here, I'll shamelessly promote any of y'all. If y'all have anything going on, like Tom Duke, whatever your business is, I'll promote them. You tell me what you're doing. Anybody, you want me to promote something, I'll promote it. You know, Sue, if you got a roller derby game coming up, I'll put it on there. I'll start blowing it up saying, hey, go to Sue's roller derby game over in this place and this place. I don't know. I think Sue might have retired from roller derby, but maybe not. I mean, I'll say, hey, Sue, you got a roller derby game? We'll put it on blast on the Raptor Freak channel. Oh, yeah, we will. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Tom Duke is saying, thanks for the support. I'm crying now. Yes. Listen, let the sensitivity and the feelings flow, guys. You know, don't hold it in. This is how wars start. This is how people beat each other up, you know, when they're just not in touch with their real self and feelings and stuff. So we got to be there. You know, it's hilarious. Oh, yeah. Monique's laughing at Raymond's jokes. Pretty good. Paul B saying, keep grinding, Lex, and you'll be on TV in a season or two. No, they can't put me on. If they put me on TV, I'm going to definitely have to put on my radio filter. That's the one thing. I can work blue and not blue. I'm able to do this. I just choose to be absolutely unfiltered Lex here. Like, this is the thing. I'm not coming in with a script. I'm coming in off the top of my head. I read what you guys are saying, and it cues me to what we should talk about next is basically what I'm doing. So it's that kind of stuff. And yeah, if I'm on TV, maybe it'll just be some fun little stupid segment where maybe I do something crazy Raptor Freak thing or something like that. That's fine. But no, I don't have any aspirations to be a play-by-play or even like, I don't know, if they put me on the Fan 590 or something like that, that'd be weird. I don't know. I used to want to work for the Fan 590. In fact, when I moved to Toronto in 1998 after I graduated from FSU with my degree in broadcast writing and minor in communication and worked in radio in Tallahassee for like 5, 10 years, I did have aspirations to go work at the Fan 590, but instead I took a job making Mr. Sub at the arena instead because I just wanted to be in there no matter what. And I got in there and it was badass when I did. Oh my gosh. I love Alex Wong too, Monique. He's really funny. He's the co-host with Will Liu. He's really funny. He's a good producer. And I love that he brought him with him. Will Liu brought him with him. He's his guy, and he brought him with him to the big stage. And fantastic stuff. That's what you do. You take care of your good people, and you bring them with you. Paul B saying, I'm all for Raptors YouTubers, but don't be spreading shit about what team can or can't do without the games even played. Yeah, it's speculation and stuff like that. Listen, woulda, coulda, shoulda, all of the trade stuff, all the different things. Like I really was upset with Amy Audibert last week when they were talking on the Raptors nightcap about the Raptors' chances against teams like Brooklyn and Philadelphia. And she was very pessimistic that we have a real chance in the playoffs against Philadelphia. And I was looking at her like, what the fuck are you watching? Like, have you seen how we play Philadelphia? Have you seen what's going on out there? Why would you think that? Just because big names are on their roster? She's following that stupid NBA media think that way. And that really pissed me off that she doesn't believe that the Raptors could beat the Sixers in the playoffs. That really, really pissed me off, Amy. And really understand that you're making content for Raptors fans. You're making content for people that love the Raptors. And we want to hear you talk about how we can succeed. And we don't want to hear you think that we're going to fail. That is not what we want to hear. Even if you think we're going to fail, just stay away from that. Don't put it out there because people will start to not like you in some ways. And I know that sounds fucked up. And you want real journalism, like judgment and stuff like that, not swayed by public opinion, but you can do it in a way that's realistic and real and not so just like, yeah, they can't do it. Because that's not the kind of way we think. That's not the way the team thinks. And that's not how we think at this Raptor Freak channel. No, it's not, Amy Audibert. And that's why you're kind of on the bad books right now, because you said that last week in a Raptors nightcap about us and the Philadelphia 76ers. And then on top of that, I also found out you're a Miami Hurricane because you're rooting for them in the tournament. And we know Seminoles and Hurricanes don't get along. And I'm a Seminole, baby, just like our guy Scott. And that's the thing. We hate the Miami Hurricanes. We've had so many different shit with wide right, wide left, field goals at the end of games and stuff like that. The rivalry between the University of Miami and Florida State is very, very big in college football. And we are just trained to hate you and the Gators. So I'm sorry. I have to give you a point against because you're a Miami Hurricane, unfortunately, and you're rooting for them to do well in the tournament. I hate the Hurricanes. All right, anyway. All right, Raymond Jacob has taken back a couple comments. Let's keep going. Josh is awesome. You like Josh Lewenberg? Josh Lewenberg he's grown on me. At different times he kind of bugs me, but he honestly, if you were talking about people that are right in the heartbeat of what's going on with the Raptors and is really journalistic integrity, because Blake Murphy, he does his dumb little jokes too. He's unprofessional like Doug Smith at times, making his stupid ass like AEW jokes about things and like cross tying jokes and stuff like that. Blake, you're too cute for your own good in some ways. Like I wish you were being more like you were when you first broke in and you became more legitimate as a source of information about the Raptors, because I think you're a little bit too much into your fun games with AEW stuff and on your Twitter and shit like that. And then Grange pisses me off just from being negative about the Raptors, writing that hit piece saying Masai Ujiri is going to take a job with Washington a couple years ago and shit like that. He just pisses me off in some ways. He's a little cocky, and he will make Doug Smith jokes also. They're stupid. But Lewenberg, out of all of them, is the more straightforward, real journalistic integrity out of those twits. I call them the three twits because they're the three guys that I follow closely on Twitter for Raptors news. And Lewenberg is the straight shooter. He's the one that I'm really kind of like the most right now because he just no bullshit. He's just telling you what's going on. He doesn't add any of this stupid shit that these other guys do and stuff like that. So I'm a big fan of Josh Lewenberg right now. Also, Monique. Raymond Jacobs saying Alex Wong is funny. I wonder if Alexi can spit bars too. I can actually spit bars. You give me a little rhyme scheme and a beat, I find a way. Like I went to Second City and took a lot of improv classes a couple years ago, and one of my teachers was Ashley Botting. And Ashley Botting is an amazing musical improvisational artist. You know, she sings opera and improv and shit like that. She's amazing, honestly. And I had her for a class where I had to sing and a thing, and I did an impromptu like song with making it up off the top of my head with song structure and changes and rhyming, and it sounded beautiful. And when I did it, she looked at me like, "Holy shit! Like he's got it in it." No, there's an innate musical talent inside me. Like if you give me something, I can make up a song off the top of my head with a tune and sing it, and I'm really good at it. I may not be good at rapping in different ways and doing bars, but I can definitely sing a song off the top of my head and make it badass and make it fit to something. You've heard a little bits of it here and there through the stream and stuff like that. But if I wanted to rap it, I could probably rap it too. Like hell, let's do this. Let's get Gary on the phone. We'll do we'll do the rap battles that they do at Comedy Bar, and we'll get Alex Wong versus the Raptor Freak in a rap battle on the stage at Comedy Bar. We'll see how that goes down. Yeah, maybe I can be a match with Alex Wong, who's spitting rhymes on the Sports Fan 590 Sportsnet. Yeah, I like that battle, that rap battle. I'll take it. Come on, let's get on the phone. Let's get this organized. Rap battles, come on. All right, let's see. Sue's here. I hope Joel has learned and matured, but I saw him doing some antics again just last week. Okay, so maybe he hasn't learned his lesson yet. Okay. All right, y'all. Maybe I'm giving too much esteem or credit to Joel Embiid and his growth as a youngster. And maybe he does have some tough lessons to learn still. And maybe Daddy Raptors needs to teach him some more lessons out by the woodshed. Oh, yeah. Daddy Raptors has got to take baby Embiid out to the woodshed and smack, smack, smack a little bit more so we see more baby cry, cry, cry. Okay, yeah, I love it. All right, Clink saying at Raymond Jacob, in reference to the staring contest, I'm sending you a mental punchline drum roll. Yeah. Yeah, that was good. It's good. Paul B saying Sirius XM Lex lets the swear words flow. Hey, whatever deal. Put me on there with Howard Stern. I know Howard Stern's buck wild doing whatever the fuck he wants on these satellite radio channels. Hey, whatever. I'm listening. Somebody discovers me and wants to do something with me. I'm not trying to make money, but if you want to make money off of me, come get me. Put me somewhere. I'm just here to do what I love doing. But if you see some money in it, somebody out there in some media conglomerate or some people serious or whatever, what the fuck you want, come get me. Come talk to me. I'm on the market and I'm listening to offers, but I'm going to keep doing this the way I'm doing it right now, at least for right now. And if it changes and comes something else and goes somewhere else in some other entity, hey, I'm all for it. I'm game. Let's do it. Let's do it. You know, I'd love to make some money doing something that I love, but I'll do it for nothing still because I love it that much. Oh, yeah, I will. Clink saying at Paul B, I agree. Reference to Alexi and TV. I will watch for sure. It's possible my sense of humor sucks, but I'm laughing my ass off constantly with this on in the background. No, Clink, you. Everybody's got their own fingerprint for comedy and stuff like that. I really found what happened with Jack and Matt extremely hilarious on all kinds of different levels. And it may be because you just brought us that Jack's real name is something totally different, and he has like a masturbating real handle that he's using, Jack Armstrong. Yeah, and he's going to say Ron Jeremy in there. This is my kind of sick humor, and you're hearing my kind of crazy humor and the things that I'm saying and stuff like that. So. Yeah, well, hey, listen, I appreciate everybody saying these kind of things. And you know what? You put it out there and you say Raptors 2022 NBA championship, Lexi doing this and this and this. You put it out there and who knows what happens? Things happen. It's crazy. Paul B said, you've got a job in Wisconsin if you want, but you'll have to listen to our Bucks analysts. Oh, no, I'm not switching sides. This is not negotiable. There's no way I'm not going to ever do something like what Chev did, where he turned his back on the Knicks and went to the Raptors. I will never do this to the Raptors. I don't care how bad they get. I don't care if we have a James Dolan owning this team. I will never ever turn my back on the Raptors because I'm a real one and I will always be here with them. I can't go get traded. I can't get traded to Milwaukee. I'm not like Serge. I can't just show up there and put on purple and green. I'm sorry, I can't do that. It's all red here, baby. Raptor red and purple till I die, baby. There's nothing else. There's no way I could do that. I'm sorry, I can't be traded. I cannot be traded. Raymond saying, Clink, I subscribed to you the other day. You popped in here. You're funny too. Like your vids so far. Keep up the good work. Go Raps. Yes, everybody share. Share Greg's work, share my work, share Monique's work, share Dan's work, share Sue's work, share everybody shares everybody's stuff, and it's just awesome. More growth in everybody's stuff going every which way. I really do appreciate what you did, Clink, this week with that piece about me just in the last couple of days since you come in. It's really, really nice. Other people came and told me that you did something real nice, and I went checked it out, and I really appreciate that, man. All right, let's see. Monique saying, on another note, what people don't know, Adrian Griffin handles the defense. That's right. He's a defensive coach. He was an important defensive coach for other teams before he came to our team. And yeah, his defense is really badass. He's been kind of our defensive coach. Or Watson's more of an offensive coach, more of a offensive shooting, get your shot open kind of coach. And Griffin is kind of, yeah, that kind of guy. I really like in that open gym how they showed how he relates with the players and how he's kind of the guy who has those teaching moments, those moments where you have to get real with them and maybe break their ego down a little bit and say, well, this is the constructive criticism you need to hear. This is a teaching moment and you need to learn this. And they really, really respect him. They have to, because this is a man who was in the league. This is a man who did everything that they're trying to do now, and that he knows what he's talking about. And that's the important thing, is that you need these former player coaches like Earl Watson and Adrian Griffin, because they carry a lot of respect and experience that can be trusted because they've been there, done that. And the more I find out about our coaching staff in different places with Trevor Gleason, Jim Sand, Eric Curry, any of them, I get more and more impressed with the people that we attract and have in-house running things for us. These are really good people, and they're not loafers. They're all doing a job. Nobody has a job like Kawhi's little guy who he follows around and has him as a Castleberry. He's just on the roster because Kawhi has to have a guy. We don't have anybody like that. Everybody is doing their part and carrying their weight and doing good things to help the team in whatever area that they help in. And Jamal McGlure too. And I hope that Jamal doesn't just go take the CEBL, and he's away from the Raptors for good now. He needs to be a part of our team no matter what, even if it's in a lower position, not as much. So Ranked Scrub, good to see another new name. Good to see you. We're here every morning sometime between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. I'll be on here usually for about an hour or two, but it looks like we're going to get 3 hours today. Let's see. Ranked Scrub saying, if beating Embiid means you have to attack his balance and solar plexus all game, which team in the East is the hardest to play like that against? The Raptors. Like, we got multiple guys of different length that can all come at him from different angles. One of the things that Joel really likes to do is spin. He likes to move, and he's such a big guy. He needs room to move. And what we do is we really limit his ability to maneuver around the basket by having like two or three guys just on each side of him. And once again, like, you get one guy to box him out, and then the other guys are all crushing the glass. He can't be as offensive, like rebounding and powerful as he can be against other teams, because we stymie him and negate him from getting second chance. And that's part of it, is he'll miss the first shot he makes, but he gets the rebound and puts it back anyway, that kind of stuff. So I like what you're saying there, Rank Scrub, because that is really part of our strategy on how we deal with Embiid, is we make him uncomfortable. We play with physicality coming at him, and he doesn't do as well. He doesn't shoot as well. He doesn't dominate as well and stuff like that. And other teams that don't do that, he runs over them and he dominates them. And that's a big reason why we have an advantage in some ways over other teams against the Sixers, is we can come at Embiid with the physicality that he can't handle. And that's great. Sue saying, agree, Lex. We have to believe in our boys. We always should. We always should, no matter what. The Cleveland Browns have diehard fans that are like us for them, and they believe year in and year out. Are they crazy and delusional? Well, maybe a little bit, but at least their heart's in the right place, and this is how they have to be. And at least we're not totally delusional. Like, we could be a very bad team, and I would be the same way, positive about the team and trying to shine a light and show us the way. But I'm glad that we're way further along and that I don't sound like an absolute crazy lunatic in talking positively about the Raptors. I did at the beginning of the season. A lot of people looked at me like I was fucking crazy when I was saying some of the shit I was saying at the beginning of the season. They're like, "Oh, no, come on, man. You're pie in the sky." And you're like, you're crazy. They can't do this. Well, they're doing it. They're doing a lot of what I said they would do. I did say they'd be in the top four. But wait, we're fifth. Is that close enough? Is that close enough to four? I mean, really. Let's keep going. Monique saying met Alex Wong before the 2019 championship. I saw those guys before the preseason game against Philadelphia when we first got in the building. I ran into Will Lou and Alex Wong, and I said, "Will Lou!" And I was like, "Will Lou, what's up?" And I gave him a high five. And of course, he didn't know who I was, but I was like, "Yeah, Will Lou is in the building." And like it was cool because I kind of like had a little run in with them right before the season started, and I was hyped. I was hyped. I was like, what I said was, I said, "Will Lou, you hit the big time." I told him that. I said, "You hit the big time, baby, in the big time," and he laughed. He was like smiling. It was good. Anselm saying college sports is like gang life. You get gangster. I understand. I'm a Georgia Bulldog himself. Hey, congratulations, Anselm, on winning your national championship recently. Fantastic stuff for the Bulldogs. I was so happy that y'all won and it wasn't the other team. I hate Alabama. I'm not gonna lie. I really hate Alabama. And I do have a lot of good friends that are in Bulldog Nation. And my brother lives in Atlanta and he's in the middle of it, in the middle of Bulldog Nation there and stuff like that. So yeah, college sports is like that. Like as a young child growing up in Tallahassee, I had no choice. Like the father that lived across the street I was telling you about that had CP, he was a huge Seminoles fan. He still is to this day, huge Seminoles fan and a big booster and Seminoles. So it's like forced on me in some ways by the community that if you're not into the Seminoles in Tallahassee, there's something wrong with you. And another thing was across the street, the other neighbor was the father of the person who took care of Renegade. Renegade is the horse that I hate to say it because my alma mater has stupid ass fucking mascot, but they have the okay of the Seminole tribe because they pay them a lot of money to use the tribe name. And that's why they're allowed to use the name Seminoles. But the guy who's Chief Osceola that has the flaming spear and he throws it into the middle of the field at the beginning of the game, that horse is named Renegade. And the guy who lived across the street took care of the horse. So every game day as a little kid, I'd see Renegade the horse in his horse car across the street on his way to the game. And it was cool. We'd go feed the horse. And that was part of what got me into it. And it was Mr. Harder, obviously, with his love and his passion for the Seminoles. It was really the template that taught me the love you can have for a sports team that you really like. And that is actually what taught me the way I am about the Raptors, is seeing how certain people in Tallahassee were about the Florida State Seminoles and the college football in that town. And that's why I come at this in a different kind of way as a fan than the average Raptor fan, is that I'm coming at it from a college football major program, Atlantic Coast Conference team that was fighting for national championships. And we would spin things, all kinds of positive for the Seminoles and whatever situation. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just applying it to this, that kind of thinking about your team, because I saw it lacked here. There was a lot of cynicism, a lot of things from the history of the Leafs and different sports teams in this city that let people down, that we can be a different way. And that's part of why I'm doing this here on this channel right now. Oh yeah, you're exactly right, Anselm. It can be a little bit like gang stuff. It can be. I mean, the Florida State rivalry is really big, but it's also kind of fun too, because there's a lot of Gators in Tallahassee, a lot of big Gator fans there, but it's fun. You can be sitting in a bar in Tallahassee and somebody's wearing a Gator hat and there's a Seminole hat, and there will be a little bit of shit talking just at the seat, just right there, just going back and forth. My father and his best friend, he's a Florida Gator, and my dad's a Seminole guy. They talk trash, even, and they really don't care. There's a little bit of Florida Gators talk trash talking here and there everywhere in Tallahassee. It's crazy. Clink saying at Raymond, thanks for the words, but straight up, I simply get joy from the northern community. This is about human beings and making the world have more joy. Only haters say casual. There's so much bad, negative bullshit in this world. We need to shine more lights, be more positive, show love, show understanding, show appreciation. Talk about what you love in this world more than what you hate. So many people talk about what they hate and put down what they hate and just like, oh, that's stupid. They're jaded. They're cynical. That's what I'm saying. Like, let's not crush the little seedlings of creativity and the great things in this world before they even started by being such a dream crusher, by telling somebody, well, that's stupid. Why are you doing this? Going on YouTube every morning and talking out your ass for an hour. That's so dumb. You're never going to make any money doing that. People can say that kind of shit to you, and it can be very deflating. So I love what they said in the thing that Adrian Griffin, the open gym, that his purpose in this world is now to show that to other people, to encourage them, to tell them, I believe in you, that I think that you can do it. And the more that we do that to each other, the more we build everybody up and we get better as society and as people as a whole. And that's what you got to think about it that way. I love what Greg's saying there because it's true. You want to build people up. You don't want to tear people down. You want to be a force for good and love. You don't want to be a force for negativity and cynicism and putting other people down just to get a cheap, I feel a little bit better because I did this. No, there's a very fundamental, important thing in this world today. And this is how we can turn the tide and get this world to a better place in the future instead of making it go into shit and horribleness and all the awful things happening around here. I see the pandemic and the war in Ukraine right now as great opportunities of showing humanity banding together and doing their best in very bad situations and doing what they can. And it's very positive in some ways. It's like we had such horrible negative things in the world happening recently that we're seeing really inspiring, amazing, positive things that are how people are reacting to it and doing what they want to do to help. And that is amazing in itself. That is something we should celebrate and talk about way more. Like this whole thing with the justice who's in the confirmation hearing right now. There's a lot of ugliness, a lot of bad stuff happening around that. But she's also a great example of how to withstand this. And we know she's going to get that seat and she's going to be victorious. And this is going to be such a badass example for every young lady, young person, every person in the world who's been told they can't do something or has been tried to be stopped and they overcome it. That's what I love about the Supreme Court justice is about to get confirmed. It's just like that kind of stuff. I love it. This is a really maybe one of the most important fights in this world today is the fight against negativity and the fight for positivity because we really are what we say we are. If we want to go around and be negative people and be awful haters and stuff like that, that's what we'll see in the world. But if you put out that light and that positivity, it'll come back and it'll be what you see in the world also. It's really your perception and what you want to put out there. Let's keep going. Clink saying, explain what you mean. Which team? I think that he's talking about us. I think that Rank Scrub was alluding that it's us that would be able to be physical with and be the best. So I think that's what they meant. Raymond saying number one. Clink saying at Paul B. Hi, I just grabbed my Dragic meme clip for the video I'm working on. It's getting comboed with the Herbie Coon from last night. Yeah, Dragic with that stuff. That was bullshit. That's something we'll remember this year. Rank Scrub said, I'm not as worried about the Bulls. We can defeat Vucevic and out-defend DeRozan. That's a team, yeah, I'm not worried about in some ways. But once again, I don't want to face the Bulls at any point in the playoffs. I'd like to see them have their own path and stuff like that and say whatever happens, happens. But I'd like to keep both those horses in the race as long as I can because they're my two teams that I'm rooting for. So we'll see. But yeah, I think we could beat the Bulls. If we have to play them and we're in a 7-game series, we can beat them. I really do believe that too. Paul B saying 4th seed, 48 wins was my prediction in the preseason. I also said we could go undefeated if our dudes were all clicking and making their shots. Wasn't expecting Yuta and Svi to be non-factors. Yeah, they really looked like they were going to be important to be in the year, but they haven't been. And Paul, you're not that far off from your preseason predictions. We'll see how close we are to 48 by then. Scott B said, I felt like everyone thought I was crazy too till NBA Chef came along and now me. Yeah, I mean, listen, it wasn't cool to be into the Raptors. Like there were really way more Raptor fans that were like kind of like being assholes, like kind of like, oh, I love the Raptors. What do you mean? I love the Raptors, but I'm a realistic Raptor fan. And no, Fred VanVleet isn't an all-star. And no, the Raptors won't make the playoffs because they're not good enough. Like, does that mean you're a fan if you don't believe in them? If you don't actually think that they can achieve these things? I don't think that's a fan. A fan believes in the best for their team and hopes that that's what happens. So yeah, Scott B, hey, listen, if Chev and I are part of that wave of making this a lot better and a lot more enjoyable and out there and more positive, hey, I'm all for it. That is exactly the purpose of why I'm here right now. Anselm is saying Raptors can grind down the best teams in the playoff scene. Yeah, we really can. It really is like a grind. Like it's like one of those saws or like you grind them right down. They can't do shit. They will not be able to do shit. They won't be able to deal with us. They won't want to. A lot of teams are lazy. They don't want to work this hard. Our guys all want to work real hard for Coach Nurse and for winning and for each other. They understand what this will get them if they do it, and they'll put in the work. They're not like a fan that comes to a Blue Jays game and say, I won't cheer until they're up by 3 runs. I won't cheer until they're in the lead. They're right from the start, and they believe in it, and they're going with it. And that's the thing. They're devoted, and they understand. They trust their coach. They believe in him. They'll do a full court press for a good part of the game. Other players will be like, Coach, really? You want me to make a full court press in the second quarter? Come on, man. And they'll half-ass it. But these guys believe in it. And that's going to be a huge difference between our team and other teams, is that they're bought in and they're all on the same page. All right, let's keep going. Raymond Jacobs, no, it's only crazy if you're not a Raptors fan. Yeah, at this point, I think you're right, Raymond. If you're not a fan of the Raptors, then you don't love basketball. You don't love the real basketball that is rebounding and defense and team concept. You may be one of these guys that loves LeBron and just loves individual NBA, superstar, big three NBA. Well, we are real basketball. And if you don't love if you love real basketball, you have to love the Raptors because we are the epitome of it. I wrote a message to Sean David of the Basketball Time Machine this week. I was telling him, I was like, look, I know you hate the current NBA. I know that you love the old 80s and 90s NBA, but I want you to come check out my team and come tell me if you think that they're playing in an old school style that you can respect once again. And I hope he does listen to my comment and go and check out the Raptors more currently, because I think Sean David will find out that the Raptors are playing the brand of basketball that he loves, and that he will be like, oh, I can champion this team, because he loves guys like Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Dennis Rodman, those kind of guys. He has to love the Raptors because we are a throwback, old school kind of style team in the way we play. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Handsome saying, yeah, you're right. No choice. Deshaun Cleghorn, good to see another new name. Awesome. I hope you'll come back. Please subscribe. Hit that red subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscriptions so I can do a lot of new YouTube stuff. Deshaun saying, I feel good about the Bulls, Sixers, Miami, and the Bucks, but I'm nervous for us to face Boston. They just love playing their best against us. Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's pretty accurate for where I am with things. I feel good about the Sixers and the Bucks for sure. The Bulls, I'm mostly okay because of how bad they've been recently. If they were like how they were earlier in the season, I'd be more worried about them. And then Miami, also same kind of thing. If they were more like they were earlier in the season, now they have everybody healthy. Like Oladipo's back and Bam, and nobody's missing, but Miami's imploding and they're losing now all of a sudden to teams like New York, and they lost real bad to Brooklyn last night. So maybe I'm not as worried about Miami and Chicago at this point. I'm not as worried about the Bucks and the Sixers, but yeah, Boston really is kind of our nemesis and the one that we really got to watch out for. It's like in The Simpsons with Lisa Simpson and that little baby with that one eyebrow, the unibrow baby. That's Boston, and we're Maggie Simpson. You know what I'm talking about? The little baby rivalry between that little unibrow baby and Maggie Simpson. That's what's going on with the Raptors and the Celtics a bit. Yeah, well, that is. Let's keep going. Clink saying, Raptor Freak, about what you said about Ukraine and making the world better, to guests around my table all the time. If we aren't trying to be a tick more like Star Trek every day, we're wasting our time. Oh my gosh, Greg, you're right. Seriously, Roddenberry put it all out there for us, y'all. He's shown us the way. We have to be more and more like Star Trek. Star Trek really is a good indicator of things. Like, it's weird how media can sometimes play out the reality of the future. Like everybody talks about the Simpsons phenomena, how the Simpsons predicted this, the Simpsons predicted that. Well, they just have really smart writers that are very creative, and they have an understanding of things, and that's kind of how it thinks. But also sometimes media can kind of project or predict things in the future. And like something like the movie Idiocracy, which was written by Mike Judge, I really worried that some of the things in Idiocracy have happened and come more and more true over the years. That he wrote that movie, and yeah, in some ways, fart humor and stupid shit is becoming more like this, and such society's becoming more like Idiocracy in different ways. So, talking about what you're talking about with Star Trek, I really like that that is something that's been put into the media world and entertainment world for us to shoot for something that's more idealistically better for how we treat each other and how society can be better. And I totally agree with this, Greg, that if we could get more and more like Star Trek as time goes on, this world would be a way better place in all kinds of different ways. And I love that kind of content that's created, that we need more of that kind of constructive, positive content that can show us positive ways to live in the world, and less like the really awful, bad stuff that like, oh shit, why did you make that? What if this actually happens? Like the Purge movies really bug me. The Purge movies, like that kind of shit could happen. Don't put that out in entertainment form. Then people are like, well, you're going to live in the purge and someday. But fuck that shit. We don't want that. So really, when you make content and entertainment, you have to think about what will this shape the world and the reflection of the world in the entertainment, and then the world reflects back in some ways, like South Park, Simpsons, everything like that. It's that kind of thing. Ansem saying a lot of people are jumping on now. I said it from September. This year will be special. I like that. I like that positive activity. I love that positive attitude you had, Ansem, right from the start. And I was there with you, man. I really did feel like it was going to be an up and down year by the nature of our developing young team, but that the ups were going to be a lot better than the downs. And we have seen that happen for sure this year. And I love it. I love it. And I'm glad you've been here all along with me this whole time. Scott B saying, someone told me Cade had a 34 8-8 game. Is this true? And if so, against who? Because I don't remember hearing about it. He had a really good game recently. He won. Listen, they've been talking a lot about this Rookie of the Year contest, and they've been talking about how Ray Allen and Jason Kidd were rookies of the year. And I think that this may need to happen. Like, would you guys be upset if they gave it to both Mobley and Barnes? Now, get this. What if they even go as far to say all three of them were Rookie of the Year? They give it to Cunningham, Mobley, and Barnes. All three of them, they're like three-way Rookie of the Year. I wouldn't be too upset with that, because honestly, that they all deserve it to a degree. They are all pretty equal. But at least I'd like to see, if they're going to have a it's got to be Mobley and Barnes for sure. If it's not outright Barnes, I can settle for a co-MVP, co-rookie of the year between Mobley and Barnes. And also, if it is a three-way, they give it to all three of them. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, honestly. They'd all get it, and it would be good, because they've done it before. They've had co-rookies of the year. And they're talking a lot more about it recently, different people, and that maybe it will be okay. And that's how it will go down. We'll see. It'll be interesting. It'll be really interesting. But yeah, Cade's still making some big plays and big games and stuff like that for a team that doesn't matter. So you've got to take that discount for him. But in some ways, individually, he's done more for his team than the other two guys. So it's tough. It's a tough race. Monique saying, did anyone see Stephen A. Smith say Raptors can beat Miami on ESPN? Yeah, I heard that he said that. And he's right. He's right. We can beat Miami. We can beat any of these fucking teams. I don't care if it's in the East or the West. We've proven that we can stand face to face, and we have a shot to try and take down whoever it is. It doesn't matter which team in the NBA. You pick whoever you want, bring them to our arena. We'll go to their arena, and we'll match up with them, and we'll give them a good effort. And they'll feel the Raptors at the end of it, whether they win or lose. Oh, they will. They'll feel them at the end. Raymond Jacobs said, Cage Schmade, who cares? It's all about Scotty and Roy. Yep, I agree with that. Scott B saying, I tend to stay off big media. YouTube, way better content. Yeah, I'm that way too. I cut the cable cord many years ago. I was in a Netflix world for a while, binging Netflix left and right. I cut that cord too. And now it's all YouTube, baby, and it's free. I can go on here and you find people like me. You find people like Sheb. You find people like Bo, the Fifth Column. You got all these great channels, and you can really shape and, make your own content schedule of what you really care about and what you want to watch, and you have the control, and you can watch it when you want, and you have what subscriptions you want to follow, and really make it cool. Like some of the channels that I follow are really fun and interesting. Like I think I made a live stream earlier this season where I was talking about all my favorite YouTube channels, like Minty, who does the movies, and then Professor Rock, and like all these great YouTube channels. You don't need cable. You don't need to have any of this kind of stuff. You can find good stuff on YouTube everywhere. Like I watch a lot of old wrestling on YouTube. There's so much great historic wrestling from like 50. There's stuff from like 100 years ago. You get to see matches with Farmer Burns and stuff like that on YouTube. It's amazing what you can find out there. It's just crazy. But yeah, I'm with you, Scott B. I cut off the main media cord. I only hear about what the media is saying through like just stupid little articles on my Yahoo page or something like that. I don't watch any CNN, no Fox, no CTV, no Score, no ESPN, no nothing. I only hear about it through if it's on YouTube and I hear it through the channel, or I see stuff on my Facebook feed or stuff like that. That's the only way I get it. Let's keep going. Clink saying at Superfan Mo, can you link on Facebook, please? Yeah, you'll find her. She's on there. You can find her and follow her and see all of her stuff. I'm sure you've been seeing her stuff already. Scott B saying it definitely is all about Scotty. I just don't remember actually hearing or seeing anything about that stat line from Cade. Listen, I know that they did talk about Cade helping them win a game recently and stuff like that, but a lot of people see it this way. I think it's Detroit people and maybe some people like that like him from college and stuff like that are going to champion him to be Rookie of the Year, but it should really be a two-guy race. And if it's going to be co-rookies of the year, it should be Evan Mobley and Scotty Barnes. And that's hopefully what will happen, or Scotty just wins it outright for sure. Sue saying if both Scotty and Mobley deserve it, it could be awesome to see them be co-winners. Clink saying, as Scott B agreed, we're blessed with great content. Oh God, you guys, thanks again. And he's I brought up Idiocracy. Yeah. yeah. It's got electrolytes, Greg. It's got electrolytes. Oh yeah. See, there's some reality. It's like, especially the whole thing about maybe Dwayne the Rock Johnson running for president. Everybody wanted that. I was like, this is really starting to turn into Idiocracy, because that is like the President Macho Camacho or whatever. What's his name from Terry Crews? It's so good. So good. That movie's really good. If y'all have not seen Idiocracy, watch it. It is a telltale story of what could happen to our society. We're not smart. But there's a lot of truth to this. Like, I studied demography in grad school, which is like fertility and when people decide to have children. And a lot of the really smarter people put off having children in their early 20s because they're going to advanced levels of education. They're going to get their PhD. They're going to get their doctorate. They're going to get their master's, and they have children later in life. So they have less children. So the people that aren't going to get educated are having more children younger. So by default logic, society gets dumber just because the dumber people that are having more kids, and then the smart people are not having kids for whatever reason. They can't afford it. They put it off because of their education and stuff like that. But I also like to think this, there's a counteract to this, that people are more intelligent now because they have more accessibility to knowledge and their own phone. Like people can be actually not really smart, but they can be smart because they can reference and look up anything really quick in that moment. So it's weird. It's kind of like not totally like people, maybe their IQs are getting dumber, but the ability and accessibility to knowledge is way better in that way. So it's a weird kind of thing. But also there's a lot of misinformation and propaganda and bad shit out there also that makes people dumber also. So it's a dual-edged thing. But that's a little bit of the demography kind of thing about Idiocracy and its statement about, you know, the dumb people having a lot of kids and the smart people not having kids, and not, you know, it's a weird phenomenon. It could happen over the years. Scott B saying, I can't handle that Scotty Barnes is Rookie of the Year for all the reasons they talked about on there. He is. They can't switch it now because it's convenient. That, you know, you've had a certain way that you wanted to look at the Rookie of the Year, most of you NBA experts, and you can't change it now just because all of a sudden our guy is overtaking the other guy in the criteria. You cannot change it. You need to stick to how you've been saying. If we have the better record, he has the better stats, he's the Rookie of the Year. It's pure and simple that. And I hope it all works out that way. But once again, we're not living and dying with this fight. It is what it is. And if he doesn't get it, he's going to have a chip on his shoulder. And geez, look out, the rest of the NBA. You're not going to want to deal with that. All right, let's keep going. Clink saying at Sue, same. What a draft class. Crazy. Giddy, Wagner. There's so many good names in there. Duarte. So many great rookies this year. It's a really good class. They're going to remember it for sure. Sue saying, wow, I can't believe Steven said something positive about us. We are here for hell freezing over. Speakers are catching fire. Let's hope things are changing for us, the U.S. media. Hopefully, yeah, seriously. Like without Kyle and DeMar being here, no Kawhi, no Mark Gasol, no Serge, they really got to look at Fred and Pascal and OG and these guys and give them their flowers. Give them their kudos for being real good pros and taking this team to wherever we're going to go this postseason, that they're really going to have to give them their due. Finally, they're going to have to. They can't overlook them. They cannot continue to overlook Pascal Siakam and what he's doing right now. It's just too good. Let's keep going. I'm going to finish up right now, guys. I'm way over. This is the longest stream I've done ever. But of course, there was a fire last night. There was a delay. There's all kinds of stuff to talk about. So, Sue saying, great class. Clink, thumbs up. Paul B saying the three tubes, idiocy. Idiocracy, yeah. Banana Bread Tan, one more thing. People have information, but their minds are wrecked. You can imply good information in a bad way. It's not necessarily the information that's bad. It's the reasoning of what to do with the data. It's the spin. It's the way you want to say it to make it fit what your narrative and what you want to say is. It's all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I agree with that, Banana Bread Tan. But at least it's all out there and it's accessible to most people. And there a lot of it, the things with technology and the internet and information has been really crucial to things like the pandemic and the war in Ukraine right now, that people are more informed and educated and communicating, that it's helped people work through things like the pandemic a lot easier and stuff like that. That's why I think I have a lot of positive thoughts about humanity and where we're going. That if we have enough of the right people in the right places and positivity and technology and stuff, we will save ourselves. We'll fix ourselves, because that's the human story, is to survive, is to make it through things like coronavirus, is to make it through wars and shit like that and stuff like that. So Monique saying, take me back to the Raptors versus Miami 2016. Wow. That's like way back. I'm trying to think about what's going on then. That would be like a DeMar and Kyle year. And who was on the Miami Heat at that time? Dwayne Wade. Yeah, I'm trying to think of that. Was that a playoff series? Yeah, I think that was a playoff series. And Goran Dragic was playing in that series, and he did some dirty shit. And we won that playoff series from what I remember. It was pretty close. Yeah, okay, I'm taking you back. I'm starting to remember. Clink saying, I hope it never changes. I love that they sleep on us. Like Embiid's crying is a happy place for me. So Steven at bandwagon Golden State would have won, no injuries. They make me so happy. Yeah, that's just bitter haters making up excuses. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Golden State this, blah, 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 that, whatever. Let's see. Paul B saying, Scotty Barnes is our start championship era run. Spurs dynasty incoming, the one we hope Vince would bring. Yeah. There's so many parallels between Tim Duncan and Scotty Barnes. There's so many parallels between Nick Nurse and Greg Popovich. I'm really hoping over the next 15-year period, starting with the 2019 championship, that we can get 5 championships in the next 15 years. That we just need to keep doing what Masai and Bobby do and keep developing, and it'll all line up, and we will get these championships like the Spurs did starting in 1998 over the next 15 years. They got 5 championships, and I think that we can replicate that and do it just like they did, because we're in the same kind of model, same kind of situation. We had one down year. We got a high draft pick, and it's a number 4 pick who's looking really like he may have been the first pick in the draft. And that's our Tim Duncan. We slummed for 1 year and we got this guy. And now we're ready to come out gangbusters, because we were a playoff team last year. It's just we had COVID. We were in Florida, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, the parallels are there. And I love that statement that we should be the new Spurs dynasty kind of prototype. That the Bleacher Report, Game of Thrones tried to make Boston the new Spurs of the East. Fuck that. It's the Raptors. The Raptors are the Spurs of the East. They always were and always will be. Don't even try and take that from us. Blackhawks here. Good to see you, Blackhawk. I haven't seen you a bit since the season earlier. Boucher just put out that Young video on his Hustle Play podcast. Okay, it's out. So I'm going to end this right now because I want to go watch this this Hustle Play third episode with Thad Young. I gotta watch this. Okay, Raymond Jacobs saying, I know what I'm doing next. Oh yeah, let's go. All right, yeah, let's close this up right now. Like, comment, subscribe, share, please. I mean, real quick, we had 6 guys in double digits. It was fantastic. All of our guys shot over 50% for the most part. The team stats were fantastic. We routed them by 40 points. We outshot them. We shot 60% from the field last night, 15 3-pointers, 47% from 3-point range, only missed 5 free throws, 73% at the line, 42 to 35 rebounding battle. Just everything. Everything was good. We beat them really bad in assists, all kinds of great stuff last night. We beat the Indiana Pacers, and we had a fire delay. Everything's gravy and good. And Ron Jeremy, baby. That's all I got to say. Thanks for watching, y'all. 3.5 hours. Oh, my God, Tom, I ain't got no voice. I'm trying to rest my voice to get my voice back from that Cleveland game, and I'm just not doing a good job. It's still not coming back. I appreciate you guys. Oh my gosh, guys. All right, guys. Thanks again. Have a great Sunday. I'll be back tomorrow for the preview in the morning. I'll do my homework tonight and we'll talk about it in the morning. I really appreciate it. Monique, Greg, Sue, Tom, Blackhawk, Raymond, everybody coming every day in and out and just hanging out and being here and talking to me in the morning. It's so fun, isn't it? It's such a good two-way street. And what a crazy game last night. Would you guys have predicted any of that? I mean, I know they're doing gambling on the NBA starting to in Canada. Can they put that on the ballot, the likelihood of a speaker fire in the game? And would you have won like tons of money if you placed that bet last night? I think you would have, because the odds probably would have been pretty crazy for that to happen. That's like a once in a lifetime kind of thing. Spontaneous speaker fire. Oh yeah, we'll end it on that note. Let's go